So here's the thing, right? What I've discovered is, okay, hold on. So this is Untitled, Unfocused. We're doing
Yeah,
it.
that's Tyler, Rayman, clean.
Yeah, it is much better if Rayman introduces this. So here's the thing, right? I'm not a big computer guy, you know. You know more about it than I do, but what I've discovered is that somehow in my haste, like a year or two ago, whenever I got my computer, you know my computer, right? When you, when you briefly were able to visit my house.
Yes, for a brief moment, yes.
Yeah.
Before the quarantine,
Yeah.
so to say,
It turns out
pre-COVID era.
I have a dual core, and
There we go.
that I think is my main issue as to why it doesn't like me running all of these things at the same time. Not enough
Most
space.
people have quad core. This is just like asking questions.
What happened?
Isn't quad core like a standard? I guess.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know it is. No, I know. The very little information I do know, I know that, and so that's why I'm like, I need a new computer, because it doesn't let me record all these things at the same time, you know. But as long as you get the audio, it's all good. So here's the thing.
A little computer goes a long way.
What happened?
A little computer goes a long way.
Yeah, no, that's true. So here's the thing, everyone. We skipped last week, but it's all good because that just means we have more stuff to talk about today. Okay, we're doubling up on a lot of stuff, so it's gonna be good. We're also, we're gonna be talking a little bit about what our next anime is going to be. Gonna have fun with that, and yeah. So since anime is gonna be a big part, right? I figure we start off with not anime. We start off with Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Let's go.
So we're doing episodes 2 and 3. We're already halfway. There's only 6 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking, Ray? How'd you like the last couple episodes?
Well, I think 2. Okay. I was like, what is 2? Oh yeah, we did 2. Yeah, 3 is like, this is where you start getting good right here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We got the 3, you're on point. You get Baron, Zemo, you got Sharon, the crew's all together. Everything's moving. It's like just Zemo with the mask is just like, every comic fan is like, let's go.
Yeah, I thought the mask was really cool.
It's all coming. It's just so good. The fur coat, the sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Zemo coming off as a much more likable character now than he was originally portrayed.
Yeah, I think that's intentional. Do you think that he's gonna try to, he's gonna turn his back on them in the end?
Yeah, it may happen next episode, or it's a feeling it may happen any of these episodes where he's eventually gonna turn. I don't think he's gonna die per se. I think he's gonna leave, go into hiding, do his own thing. He's rich enough; he can basically do whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he'll even say, "Oh wow, they let me go. What you gonna do about this, guys?"
Mm-hmm.
May go to the government itself and be like, "They freed me. What are you gonna do? I'm a criminal. I killed a king.
I'm a criminal." Yeah. So with the second episode, that was where we finally met the new Cap, and we kind of saw a little bit about him. And I think that they started to build him up as just this like straight arrow of like, oh no, like he actually kind of deserves to be Cap. He did the work.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the videos. He got the medals of honor. But then I think in the third episode, or like late second episode, and then the third episode, we kind of see that he can't really handle the pressure, and he's definitely not approaching the role the same way that Steve was, and he's like kind of turning into a villain.
Let's see. Yeah, no, so like I remember like looking into this just a bit more, and this is gonna be all shout spoilers for anyone who's actually interested, because who knows what they're gonna do here. But he's based on the Captain America. Remember, like when we were in high school, there was like a big thing where like Captain America finally using a gun.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were like, oh, he uses a gun, dude. Cap never used a gun or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like a big article or whatever, right? I'm pretty sure you remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's based on that Cap. Like it's the same name as what he has here. And I think like in the future comics they turn him into like Agent Patriot or something like that, or U.S. Agent.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's U.S. Agent.
Mhm. So like, he's still gonna be relevant, just that he's not gonna be Captain America. But yeah, he's supposed to be more like dark, not really edgy, but more like he doesn't, you know, care what he does as long as he gets the results. He's kind of similar to Zemo in that way as well.
Hmm.
Him and Zemo will just do whatever as long as they can get what they want done.
I think that that's more of how Cap was. Like Steve Rogers, the one that we know, that's kind of more how he was in the beginning. Because even if you remember the Avengers, right? The original one, 2012. That was Iron Man's big beef with him, was that he's just a soldier. He just follows orders. He wants to do good, but he doesn't always think of, he doesn't always step outside of himself and see, oh, this isn't what I should be doing, even though this is what I was told to do. And that's where John Walker, which I think is the name of new Cap.
Yeah, sounds right.
That's kind of where he is right now, where, he went to that place, wherever it was in that episode 3, and he tried to intimidate that guy. And that guy was just like, I know who you are, I don't care. And, but that was his kind of MO, was intimidation, whereas Steve got respect, and that's why people listened to him. So, I think John is still in the beginning phase of being Cap, where he just feels like he wears the suit, I gotta get the mission done, but he's not quite thinking about how he should get it done.
A good way, to put it is, with the way you were saying it, is that he wears the suit where Steve was the suit. Because like Steve was Captain America.
Yeah, exactly. He was, yeah.
He embodied it. You know what I mean? The entire idea with his like soul and his like ideals. He's merely just like wearing it, adopting the mantle. Yeah. He wasn't born into it.
He wasn't born in the darkness. He adopted it.
He adopted it. I was molded by it.
Bane has got to be like top 10 comic movie portrayals of all time, right?
It's pretty good, dude.
It's so good.
I'm actually putting that up there with Mysterio, and I'll put Mysterio up there as well now because I was waiting so long for Mysterio release.
Mysterio was pretty good.
For them to kill it like that good was crazy.
And he's probably gonna show up again in the MCU.
Yeah.
So
no, definitely. It's exciting.
I don't know what I was gonna say next. Oh, so we finally saw them meet. That was episode 2. We finally saw Falcon Winter Soldier get back together again. One of the best
BFFs,
scenes.
not?
Yeah, not really. They have like,
They're work. They're friends from work.
Yeah, friend from work. They have just some of the best interactions of the whole show. Like when Falcon brought up the big 3. He was like, what's the big 3? He's like, androids, aliens, wizards. And they were arguing over Doctor Strange being a wizard. That was funny.
Like, a sorcerer is just a wizard without a hat.
Yeah, he's like, think about it. And then I think one of the best scenes in the whole show was their therapy session.
Yo, the therapy where they locked the legs.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you like this?
It was funny, but it was also serious.
Yeah, no.
Because Bucky had to say, like, if he's wrong about you, he's wrong about me.
Exactly.
And that's what Bucky's actually feeling.
Yeah. And that's why I say it's one of the best scenes, because it is really funny. It is, building up their chemistry, but then yeah, we finally get to the root of why Bucky feels the way he does and why he's so strong about Falcon giving up. Yeah, because he's like, you have to do good because I have to do good,
If you don't do good, then that means I'm not doing good.
Right, and I'm really not doing good inside my own head. Let's see, and then yeah, you mentioned it already, but the 3rd episode was really cool. It kind of opened up the world a little bit with them traveling. It was like Madripoor or something like that.
Yeah, they went to Madripoor.
Them seeing Sharon Carter was really cool, bringing her back. I wonder if we'll see her anymore.
People were saying that she may be the power broker.
Yeah, I did see some of those theories. Because she was there, she was laying low, but she was doing quite well for herself. And like, she's really smart and strong and stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised.
In 3 episodes, a lot of stuff can happen, so you can't really say for certain what's actually planned or not.
Right. Oh yeah, 100%.
So, again, let's look back at WandaVision with every episode. I think I saw someone commenting about Mephisto.
Yeah.
Someone then also made a joke. Power brokers Mephisto.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I feel like Disney should just never put Mephisto in the MCU, just as like the ultimate troll, you know?
Or just have Mephisto have like a 5-second appearance as like a background character,
Mm-hmm.
and have someone say, "Isn't that Mephisto?" and then just walk and continue.
Yeah, it's like in Endgame there was the portal scene, and there was like a million cameo characters that you just see for like 1 second, and one of the big ones was Howard the Duck. It's like
They brought back Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
They brought him back.
it was like, wait, is that? We
He
never
was
saw him
already
again.
like, I mean, no one thought he was gonna come out of the portal, but I mean, he came out of the portal.
Mm-hmm.
You just saw him in OG Guardians, you know, and it was funny.
Yeah. How do you feel about, so the third episode ended, you know, with them, you know, they're still trying to figure stuff out. They're still trying to go up the chain, you know, try and get where all this, the serum went, all that kind of stuff. But it ended with Bucky, I forgot his name, Bucky meeting that female Wakandan. I don't remember her name. I know what it is, but I just don't remember it right now. Met a Wakandan warrior in the alleyway, and kind of arguing just a little bit over Zemo, right?
Yeah,
so
they want Zemo dead. Yeah, of course they want Zemo dead.
So do you like? How much do you think they're gonna play with that? Do you think it's just gonna be maybe next episode we'll see a little bit, and then Bucky will convince them to leave, or do you think we're gonna see more Wakandans come in and, you know, try to take Zemo by force, being like, hey, Bucky, we love you, because, you know, they took Bucky in for years or whatever it was. But, you know,
So listen, Bucky, you're cool, but like,
yeah,
this man needs to die.
yeah. I wonder how integrated they're gonna be, you know, because I feel like they've done a good
Bucky
job.
did spend like what, a couple years on Wakanda.
Yeah, I mean, he got the nickname White Wolf.
Yeah.
You know.
People were saying like, hey, maybe like have him come back and continue as White Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, you know, no one knows like if his arc's gonna be over or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're halfway through the show already, so I think that the theories are at an all-time high, because now we're on the downswing. You know, I mean, more exciting stuff will happen, but just in terms of length of the show, we're now in the back 9, and I think people are just trying to guess, where does the show end? You know, because right now I don't really know.
Yeah, the obvious for the future in your head, you're gonna be like, you know, thinking like you're gonna be like, okay, so we got new Cap, we got new Falcon, potential U.S. agent. You know what I mean? Like you can already like extrapolate those ideas. Be like, okay, then what else? You know, you're kind of like,
yeah. I mean, you can even, you know, because I think some things are very obvious, but they're so obvious that Marvel is trying to throw a red herring, where it's like, so like one thing is, where's Falcon going to end up? Is he eventually going to take the mantle of Captain America? Is he going to say, no, I'm Falcon? Will he take the soldier serum? Will he not? You know?
yeah, like is Falcon just going to stay Falcon for a while?
Yeah.
And then maybe later on he'll take the mantle.
And then what happens with John Walker? Does he eventually come around and be good? Does he die? You know, and then we have Bucky, and it's like, yeah, does he become the White Wolf? Does he become something else? Does he leave to go back to Wakanda? You know, because that's the only place that he felt
Truly
peace.
new peace.
Yeah, so I think that a lot of the options are out there. Again, Marvel has been very good with WandaVision to be like, anything could happen, so probably something that we haven't thought of is going to happen. You know, and then we have Zemo, where, you know, you mentioned it, how like the Wakandans, why I'm dead. You know, does he die in the show, or does he turn good?
He could die next episode, dude.
He could.
Like, Wakanda's just straight up bison.
Yeah, he could. I mean, Falcon and Winter Soldier argued about it, where they were like, dude, they want him dead. Like, he framed you, Winter Soldier, for killing
Their king.
Yeah, their king, like right there. Like they didn't forget that. Not a single Wakandan forgot that. So it's like, yeah, we need him dead. I don't know. There's a lot of different stuff that could happen. It's very exciting.
It's great with layering, by the way. The show, like it has like the nice layered progression and subtlety.
Mm-hmm.
They'll hint subtly at something, and they'll build up to it, like ever so slightly.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing I saw, because we already mentioned a couple like comic stuff, which again isn't really spoilers because it hasn't happened yet. Like we don't know what the show's gonna do.
Hint it with spoilers, just in case it is correct.
Yeah, sure.
If they are following true pathing on comics, which I mean they shown that they're fine like leeing away from the comics. You know what I mean? And doing their own thing.
I saw someone gather some evidence that they're definitely building towards the Young Avengers, with WandaVision's kids who aren't real, but like they still mentioned it. And then, you mentioned the U.S. agent, that the black super soldier, I don't remember his name, but they met in the second episode, who, trying to get answers out of, and then he got mad because he doesn't want to talk about it. His son, I think that was his grandson or something like that was in the house, was apparently like a young Avenger in the comics. He was, I think they said his name was just Patriot. So it's like, that could be something that comes out of the show as well, or, we don't know. Yeah, I just think they've done a really good job with these last couple shows of like bringing all the worlds together, like Wakanda coming in Falcon Winter Soldier, we got Sharon Carter coming from Civil War, like it's crazy.
They're doing a good blend. Also reminding me the Black Widow trailer came out, and is making me consider whether the movie's a sequel or prequel.
Well, in what way?
Well,
because like
I think it's the way is that like the events of the movie is going to be pretty prequel.
Okay, yeah.
But is it going to be entirely that, or will they find a way to make this like leading into the timeline?
I mean, my theory was always that like 80% of it, maybe even 90% would be where they said it was, or I think it was between Civil War, somewhere around Civil War, something like that. And then the end like 10% or so will show us the new Black Widow, which I think is what's happening. They're like introducing her successor, kind of, I don't know, being integrated somehow into some new conflict that's rising up or whatever. Because like if this movie is just prequel, that's kind of a letdown.
The way, like, the reason why it's a movie, right, is obviously it's like a larger story, and they felt like it was important enough to make it a movie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So let's word it that way, okay? Because they could have easily made a TV series as well. So it has a larger idea behind it that they felt like was mainline. That everyone needed to, like, if you were watching the cinematic universe and you just watch only the movies, they felt like it was important enough to have this slotted in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, if they felt it was important enough, then I trust them. But like, it has to give us something, because at this point, phase 4 it now is, right? They are like, Marvel is way too smart with like every single movie for at least the past phase and a half has been really good about mattering, like even, I don't know, like people weren't, there's a lot of diehard MCU fans that didn't like Captain Marvel, right? They're like, this movie's worthless, it
was still important for setting up stuff. I mean, I didn't like the movie as a movie in general, but I mean,
sure, yeah, I totally get that, but exactly like you said, there was importance to it. Like, there is stuff happening with the Skrulls that is going to be coming back in the MCU. Captain Marvel, very important to the MCU.
Yeah, introduction of her character, obviously getting that like relationship there.
Yeah, I mean even like Rambeau, who we saw in WandaVision, came from Captain Marvel, so like every movie has been good about, hey, this movie matters, if you are trying to be in you know, current with our timeline that we have, and you're a crazy person who watches everything, you have to watch every movie. So like, there has to be something with Black Widow that matters to the overall universe, and it can't just be like, oh well, Scarlett Johansson is one of the highest paid actresses in the world, and so, you know, she needs her own movie, and we're gonna give it to her.
And this is her send off, you know. This is like,
Yeah,
you get this, no.
you know, which like I totally, you know, I'm totally fine with her deserving her own movie because she is an original Avenger, but like, if that's the sole reason, it's very late for that, and not just because she's dead, you know, like even if they put it in phase 3, that still would have been weird.
Like phase 2 would have been a good time actually. You know, maybe like around Civil War, you know, would have been a nice time
100%.
to like slot that movie in if they were trying to go nice and chronological. Obviously, because it would have showed like what was happening, at least like on her end of the story. But I like the idea of leaving her black, leaving Hulk black. You know, a lot of people in the dark, and then jumping into phase 3, skipping over a lot of stuff. New characters get added, and then you get just thrown into it.
Yeah. And the one good thing about that movie is that it's dropping on Disney Plus day 1. So whether you have Disney Plus or not, you'll be able to watch it day 1. You know what I mean?
Don't have to go to the theater. It's dropping. Everyone can see it at the same time.
So I am excited for that because, you know, I am excited to watch a Marvel movie again. Not Marvel related though. Have you seen either trailer for Suicide Squad?
I have seen both trailers.
How do you feel about that movie?
You know, I feel like I have to watch the original Suicide Squad, see if there's going to be any changes from that. I don't know if there is or not. And I feel like I may have to watch Birds of Prey as well, just to hop into this.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I do mean to cut you off. You haven't seen Suicide Squad, which is perfectly natural. That movie is awful. Birds of Prey I haven't seen, but like I've seen.
Birds of Prey is on my list though. I'll say that. Reason being, it's my boy, my son, Ewan McGregor.
Oh sure, okay. Let me tell you right now, Ray. I don't know if you know this. Maybe you do, but like the whole point of this movie is kind of being like, hey, Suicide Squad was garbage. Doesn't matter. Leave it out. Here's a new one that's actually good and fun because it was made by James Gunn. This one matters. You know the only carryover.
This one has Stallone.
What happened?
This one has Stallone.
It has a lot of people.
Pete Davidson.
John Cena, who has been amazing in the trailers.
Idris Elba. It looks packed. I'm just gonna say, like, I'm kind of excited. I forgot who the other guy is. He was the one of the comedy relief characters in Ant-Man. I don't remember his name.
Oh yeah. That's I don't know his name either. But you're talking about
he's good.
Talking about the like polka dot guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's pretty funny. So like, you know, it's like they got a great cast. I feel so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that both the trailers look good. They definitely look like, you know, the James Gunn humor that we've seen. I'm glad it exists. I think James Gunn is smart, and he'll actually kill off like a lot of people, even like big name celebrities that it's like, oh well, they have to live because they'll be in another movie. Like, no, I really hope he kills them off, because that's what Suicide Squad is. You know, not everyone's supposed to live at the end. That's boring.
I expect Idris Elba dying.
Idris Elba should die.
Because he's being hyped up so much.
Yeah.
I expect John Cena maybe to live if he gets lucky.
Well, the funny thing about John Cena, and I don't know exactly the details, so, you know, people can correct me if they want, but his character, don't remember his character's name, couldn't tell you. Peacemaker is getting a show.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a sequel show. If if it's already been announced that it's a sequel show, then we know he doesn't die. I imagine it's a prequel show, because then that kind of ruins the movie if we know he lives. Yeah, so they have big plans for him, so that's cool.
John Cena's character is great. I think like one of the lines he said is like, for Peacemaker, I'll have to like kill everyone just to make sure that like, or whatever, that like there's peace on this world or whatever. Like,
yeah.
There's like some level of savagery here that I can get behind on this character.
I don't know. It's just good when a trailer comes out and you're like, yeah, that looks good. I'm down. You know?
I mean, to be fair, I'll say this: I didn't mind the first Suicide Squad trailer as well. Like, the first Suicide Squad trailer actually was decent.
Well, see,
I don't think it was bad.
here's the
Okay,
thing,
was
Ray.
like-
That first Suicide Squad trailer tricked literally everybody because the first trailer, really good trailer.
I have to say it was a great trailer. Am I wrong? It was a good trailer.
You've never seen the movie. I need you to watch the movie and tell me what you think.
I've heard reviews. I have to watch it again just because I feel like it's obligated to watch like the first Suicide Squad before you go to the next one, right?
Sure.
It's like every Spider-Man, they have to go through each of them.
Yeah.
It's a rite of passage.
Did you?
I have to go watch like all the other stuff for like the DC universe so I can watch Justice League Snyder Cut.
Oh my God. That's quite the task.
I can already feel my bones. I'm gonna hate Aquaman. So whatever. It's like
Yeah, Aquaman I've heard is just like an action movie. There's really not like, if that's kind of stuff you like, you might like it, but it's not really deep.
I feel like I'm only gonna be held on by Jason Momoa. So
This Momoa's pretty good. He's he played that guy in Game of Thrones.
Khal Drogo.
Yeah, Khal Drogo.
Then when he died, Khaleesi was
Dude,
like,
spoilers.
"My dragon will be named Drogon
She did do that, yeah.
in his honor."
There's something about that. You said that. Oh yeah. So, Justice League. I don't know. Spoilers for Justice League. I'm not really gonna spoil it.
Wow,
But
that's crazy. Spoiling the entire movie.
the only thing I'm gonna say is that the ending. I'm not gonna spoil the ending, but the ending isn't complete. Like, everyone watches that movie and is like, so is there gonna be another one? Like that, we still got questions. And the whole point, or the whole reason behind that is that, like Snyder, Snyder's crazy. His Justice League in his mind is a 3-part thing. So his Snyder cut is part 1. Now, I'll give you one guess as to, do you think that Warner is like, oh yeah, we'll give you more parts? No, they already said no. The funny thing, right, I don't know if you've seen this. I mean, you're not really on Twitter, but you might have seen it on like other stuff. Warner is like, okay, so there is supposed to be more parts, more story to this thing. That was always the original plan, and then, the whole thing happened, whatever. That's why it's kind of unsatisfying, because there's supposed to be 2 more parts. There's like a whole, so many questions with all the characters and stuff. And people are like, they used to be, release the Snyder Cut, right? Now they're saying, restore the Snyderverse. Restore the Snyderverse, because there's more movies, there's more things to be told in Snyder's vision, right? It's not complete. Like we won by getting the Snyder Cut, but it's not everything. So Warner came out, saw all these hashtags, which was like one of the most hashtagged things of all time, I think.
Did they just say no?
Yes,
that'd be funny.
They came out. It was funnier than no. They basically said, we are not going to break under the pressure of you guys wanting this. We are taking a stand, and everyone is like, nah, we don't like that. You better give Snyder the money and let him finish it. And they're basically just like, no.
See. Let me hit you with this, right? What they just said was that we'd rather listen to our shareholders than the people who actually view our content.
Which is nuts, because I think the Snyder Cut is like the most viewed thing on HBO Max.
Again, it's like they would rather listen to their shareholders and not lose shareholders over what's happening, instead of giving the people what they want and getting the money that way.
It's so crazy.
If it flops, it flops, right? But if it hits, though, if it hits.
But that's exactly though. That's the thing, is that like, Snyder Cut is a huge success on HBO Max. Like, everyone is watching it. Like,
at least if you release a second one, everyone who watched it and was like excited is gonna go watch the second one, right?
Yeah.
So you just have to gauge from there if the second one's reception is bad or not. It's pretty simple math right here.
Yeah, I know. I just thought it was funny because they were like, no. And it's like, really? Really no?
We will not bend under the pressure. That's crazy.
Yeah.
To say that? That's wild.
Yeah, man.
DC fans have it rough. I'm just saying, they just have it rough. It's just
They do, and it's unfortunate because I feel like as a kid, I really liked Batman. Really big Batman fan.
yeah, I was big into Batman. Rashawn liked Spider-Man a lot. We talked about this already.
Yeah.
Not just maybe not on podcast, but like Spider-Man a lot. So obviously, like, when he was talking about Spider-Man stuff, I'd be like, "Yo, cool stuff happened to Batman. That's crazy."
I was always a big Nightwing guy too. I like Nightwing.
Nightwing's cool. That's it. That's all I gotta say about Nightwing.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think like Batman and like Wolverine were like my two guys. Like I really like those two characters.
Wolverine's pretty cool, dude.
I just thought the claws.
I think like X-Men really enhanced that for me.
Oh sure, yeah. I mean when like the movies came out, like that was like the biggest thing ever. And then even a lot of the one good thing, and this is something obviously being me, super excited about it, but like animated stuff in the DC universe is like top notch. Top
it
notch.
Slaps, right? Every time it's just a savagery. But then like when you watch animated Marvel, you're like, what is this?
Some animated Marvel stuff is top notch, but a lot of it is just kind of like cookie cutter, where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is
like DC doesn't care what they're anime; they go hard.
Which is crazy for me because like I'm not too versed on the movies, so like I've been planning on just like binging all in the DC universe, and then like Batman Beyond I loved as a kid, right? I don't know if you've ever seen
Batman.
Yeah, but Batman Beyond.
We've
But
had a great love for Batman.
I don't think I don't think I've seen the whole show though, and then even before that, like the precursor is like the animated series, which I know is regarded as like
series. Then we have the new Batman series after Beyond. It was like Brave and the Bold.
Brave and the Bold, which at the time I thought it was whack, but then like
But looking back at it, dude, there was so much DC extended universe stuff in there that it was wild.
And then you have like Teen Titans, which me and you have talked about before, but like
Appreciate you for Teen Titans.
so good.
All slaps.
Every year there's a rumor that they're gonna continue
There
it.
was Young Justice. Young Justice was not bad. We'll give Young Justice
There's a show out right now. I think it's Young Justice, but then there's another one after that that's like
I did watch a little bit of JLA, Justice League Animated.
Justice League Animated, and I think
Watched
there's
a little bit of that.
and I think there's one that's just called like Young Titans or something. But like all of those are really cool too, and like I think they're kind of, if you're like, oh, Teen Titans ended and we never got the 6th season or whatever, like those shows are like the next best thing of like, hey, these kind of tell stories of a lot of the Titans because they're Young Justice, which I've never seen, and I'm excited that I've discovered that because now I'm gonna go back and watch them. Yeah, man,
I just don't think we're getting Plastic Man in DC Universe, and I'm just gonna be upset about that one.
I mean, it's gonna be a tough sell. I'll be honest.
If I fought for Aquaman, dude, and Aquaman made it, I'm gonna try to sell Plastic Man though.
I mean, but like, here's the thing, right? Aquaman is actually a main member of the Justice League.
I'll sell Green Lantern then. Screw it. Or Martian Manhunter. No one respects the Manhunter.
I was about to say something, but I don't want to ruin anything for you, so I won't.
Oh, is he in Justice League?
That's crazy. I'm not gonna confirm or deny anything, right? I just want you to know.
Dude, that's
I just want
exciting.
you to know that you have to expect the unexpected.
Super hype.
Anything could happen, Ray. Plastic Man might be in the Snyder Cut. I'm not gonna say if he is or isn't.
Yo, cause like, what is it like? Green Lantern and like Martian are like pretty big Justice League members, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like classic.
DC is kind of weary on Green Lantern though, because of Ryan Reynolds' version.
Listen. They screwed the Reynolds. That's why. They screwed him.
Ryan Reynolds, good actor, so it wasn't his fault.
Again, same thing they did with like when they released like X-Men Origins Wolverine, and they screwed him there too, as Deadpool.
They did, yeah. So I just have one more thing before we move into anime, Ray. And it's just a quick thing. I just want to make you aware of it, just in case you want to join me. But
Plastic Man for DCEU.
Yeah, it could happen. Me and you read manga, Ray. I haven't been reading manga in a while, but A comic?
And Manga Dex has been down for like a month.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. Crazy. It's because of like some like security thing, right? People are like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
change your passwords, everyone." you know.
Yeah, they're really upgrading their servers or whatnot, so
Yeah.
more security or what have you.
I don't know if you ever heard of Invincible. It's a comic series.
Have heard of Invincible. I heard it's pretty similar to The Boys.
Yeah, I heard, and it's. Yeah, I actually don't know when it came out in relation to The Boys because I don't know when The Boys comic came out. I know that Invincible came out in like 03, a while ago. Anyway, Ray, I just want you to know that I'm probably gonna start reading that soon because they came out with an animated series. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see
First
that.
3 episodes.
I haven't seen it, but I did see it.
Yeah, and I
Stress that.
really want to watch it, but I don't want to watch it without reading the comic first because like I know there's some differences that are made, and so I kind of want to read like the OG before watching the series, you know.
Yeah, if it was The Boys and someone said that to me, at least from my concept of The Boys now, I'd be like, don't even bother reading the comics for The Boys. Just watch the show.
The show was really
Different
good.
Entirely.
The show was really good.
I'm hyped for Boys season 3. I'm hyped.
Oh yeah, same. I don't know. Have they started filming yet? I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, man. So that was our that was our superhero segment.
Yeah, we had a segment for superheroes. Like me, I can be your superhero.
See,
$50 an hour. Birthday parties only.
Ooh, only. Not like weddings.
No, not weddings.
What about
Only
funerals?
birthday party.
What about funerals?
You know, I'll make an exception. Funerals as well. I can be a superhero. I can give a rousing speech of the person who died, saying that they helped me on a case. Then I can just run away and then like trip somewhere on my cape, and then.
So like, okay, we don't have to stay on this topic for very long because
I don't know where that bit was.
about to
Okay,
talk-
let me.
well, we're about to talk about anime, so I'm sure it's fine. But like, why do you think wakes and funerals exist? You know what I mean? Like, why don't we just put them into one? It's all the same
You're right.
thing.
Why don't we seem? It's like you know, like it's like usually like how many? It's like a days. You know, it takes a couple days. You know, you're like just hanging, vibing. You know.
Yeah.
It's like you know, it's a way that everyone I guess like is coming to meet, like, you know, who met you know, first they're all like, you know, related, I guess.
Mhm.
Related, could be friends or family, you know,
Sure.
or like acquaintances, you know, work, you know, people work together, you know, just coming together, seeing, you know, respecting, I guess, you know, sharing memories, you know. It's a time for all those people to come together and remember the one person that left.
I always thought that funerals were weird. It's like I don't really
Funerals
want to
are
be
weird.
sad with a bunch of other people, you know. Like I get like the consoling each other, but it's
Mhm.
like I don't know. You just funerals just have this like negative air about them, and it's like now I'm more sad that I'm here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've only been to one funeral, so I guess I don't have a lot of experience, but
I've been to a couple.
yeah.
Not of course not like a happy thing.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's more somber.
If I'm able to say
Generally,
no,
it's people I don't know, to be honest.
sure,
Like,
yeah.
like, you know, distant family.
If I'm able to reject the invitation to a funeral, I will. Because it's like, listen, I don't need to be here, you know? I can pay my respects from a distance. I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not, but that's just my thing.
I mean, like, if you, like, people would think you're weird about it, but I mean, if it feels like it's the right thing you're doing, then I don't see how that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, you know, however you want to grieve, I guess grieve, you know what I mean?
They don't know I'm here, you know what I mean? They don't know. They don't know the difference.
Crazy.
Anyway, so we're going to talk about
That's
the anime,
crazy.
right? We're going to talk. We got the anime, everyone. Here we go. We got the beef. So why don't we start with Cells at Work, right? Because that's just
Every time, you know, it's like I wonder
that's
what we're
just where
starting
I'm
with.
at. So I have a lot. I'm coming in hot. I got a lot of negativity to bring.
Let me just make sure I'm recording. I just don't want all this to be in vain.
You
Okay,
better
there
hope
we
you're
go.
recording.
Yeah, okay, we're good. Okay,
Okay.
I just want to make sure.
If you weren't, you would
all
have to
that
sync
noise-
again.
Just want to make sure.
I'm bringing
Alright.
I'm bringing a lot of negativity into this. So I would ask you to go first, Ray. About Cells at Work.
Yo,
Give
Cells
me
at
your
Work,
thoughts.
it's that one show I can have on in the background and do other stuff, I swear.
And that is the best compliment you can give it.
It's not like it's a bad show, okay?
I agree.
I'm not watching this and be like, this is awful.
I agree.
I feel like if I was like in middle school or high school, Cells at Work actually could have been fun. I could have like learned something, you know what I mean?
Sure.
I had an exciting time with it. This is like, I breathe in, I breathe out, and I continue.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how, every week we just have a new way to say the same thing about the show.
So
I think last week we had the last time we recorded had the highest praise we possibly could give it because it actually gave some sense of feeling for our characters, and then like in this week I think we went the exact opposite direction where we've lost that, and now I can already feel like the show is ending, and I don't think there's a second season for the show.
Mm. So like I said, we have 3 episodes left. 11, 12, 13. Then it's over. So my thing about this show is that like I feel like they didn't know where they wanted to go when they had the idea. We had Cells at Work. I didn't watch it, so maybe, whatever.
I didn't see it either, so.
But like they had an idea of like, oh, what if this show was the opposite? What if it was dark? What if it was an unhealthy body, right? We're gonna play around with that. The issue is that they didn't know where to go after that initial idea. Because they kind of played around with the original Cells at Work formula, which is just a slice of life. We're going to give you this thing every week. You know what it reminds me of? I was thinking about this. It reminds me of Scooby-Doo. Have you ever seen Scooby-Doo? Any Scooby-Doo cartoon, Ray?
Scooby-Doo.
Okay. So
I see you.
I love
More to do now.
I love Scooby-Doo, right?
Scooby-Doo.
I'm gonna need
Where
you
are you?
to calm down, Ray.
Scooby snack.
That was a really good theme song, though.
Oh man.
But like, I love Scooby-Doo, right? I love cartoons, all that stuff. People already know that.
Scooby-Doo is Monster of the Week. Yes, you're right.
But like, it's the same thing where it's like, okay, each episode is kind of contained, and then it doesn't matter for next episode, and that's what Cells at Work Black is, where it's like, so much of it.
Same thing with actual Cells at Work as well. It's just like that's it.
Right.
You learn something.
But then they try to like, it like fights with itself, because then they have episodes where it's like, oh, we're gonna give you some character development, and it's like, but you're not doing that
characters
enough.
That don't matter.
Exactly, and that's what I was gonna ask you, where it's like, it feels like they want.
If you ask me the character I care about the most right now, it's White Blood Cell.
Same, yeah, yeah. I was gonna ask you, where it's like, to me it feels like they want this show to be a shonen really badly, but they're not willing to go all the way. Where it's like, they want us to care about the main character, who
Again, I feel like it is following the manga pretty closely, at least from what I understand.
Sure, yeah.
So it just has probably to do with the manga, I guess, for this one. But I haven't read that far, so to say at least, never confirmed that. But I feel like it is following pretty closely to what they have.
But
again, I feel like if we had an Osmosis Jones,
so much better.
For at least for Black, Cells at Work doesn't need to follow Osmosis Jones, because Cells at Work can do the happy lifestyle. Show how the body's functioning and all that stuff, and that could be a self-contained educational episode, and feel good. Like Cells at Work, the original, does not need Monster of the Week. Am I wrong?
Yeah,
this is where Black's going to show everything that's going wrong in a body.
I like your Osmosis Jones thing, because stuff went wrong in Osmosis Jones. I mean, Osmosis Jones wasn't Monster of the Week. It was, it was like, oh, here's this thing, and Ozzy has to, and whatever his friend's name was, like Pill or something, I don't know.
Yeah, the pill, that like it takes him a couple hours in the body and whatnot.
Yeah. That world they built was interesting. I get Cells at Work is supposed to be like dreary and everything's going wrong, but it still has to be interesting. And like, I don't care about where they are ever. Even when like a monster comes in, I'm never like, oh no, the stakes, I'm just like, well, they'll get rid of this guy and we'll move on to the next episode. You know?
Or maybe they die. Maybe they die.
Maybe they. So like, that's another issue I had where they're finally getting to the point of them trying to give us stakes and make us care about these characters, but like, I don't really care about the friend all that much. I don't care about the main character all that much. So for him to die, it's like, okay.
Then he has the anime pose of sadness.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, the most interesting thing to me that happened these last couple episodes is the very end of the last episode, which is red blood cell guy, don't know his name because that's how much they've had us care about him, was laying in bed and he was like, nah, I don't feel like it no more. You know, I'm done. Like, that's the most interesting thing to me because that opens up possibilities of like, is a cell allowed to just not go to work? You know, or like, aren't they predestined however they're born, right? Because they're not humans, they're just, you know, portrayed. Are they born? Are they, you know, was he born to be a red blood cell? Was he like,
could be sickle cell now.
See, that could be interesting if they do that. But this just goes back to my original thing was it feels like they want this to be a shonen. They, you know, they want us to care about this main character kind of like breaking out of the mold and single-handedly saving the body pretty much. And I really hope they don't end the show that way, where because of the red blood cell that I don't know his name, this body's gonna get back on track. Like, I don't want them to do that because, like, what is the point of the show then? Stuff just kind of happens every episode, and then the red blood cell, oh man, his friend died, so now he's gonna be Superman and save the body. Which they've already talked about how one cell can't do that.
Everything.
You know? So, like, the most interesting thing to me would be for the body to die. I think that would be nuts if they actually were like, oh yeah.
Last episode, just have the body dying.
Yeah. Like, oh, there was literally nothing we could do. It was already past the breaking point. You know, so it doesn't matter how much, like, spunk you have, how much friendship power you think you have in your heart. The body's dead. Like, you know, like, ultimately you can, you know, I don't know what it was, like alcohol and greasy foods and whatever they're saying, like, sometimes we can only do so much, you know. But even that,
energy drinks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man's getting juiced.
Yeah, man. That's how I feel about the show. It's just it's the same thing like you said. You know, you kind of summed it up where it's like, yeah, it's fine. You know, it's not a bad show by any means, but it's not.
There are shows I'd rather not watch over this. You know?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
I can't name them because I just don't think about them.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So just to end off Cells at Work, do you have any theories, Ray? Last 3 episodes are finishing up next week.
I also want the main character. I want the body to die.
I do too. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that would be a really interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, I think that would be dope.
But yeah, enough of that, dude. Yeah. Let's move on to
let's get to the good show, okay? Let's get to the good. So, Wonder Egg Priority. This is not a bit. This is the best show this season. Eat your heart out, Attack on Titan.
People are saying Jujutsu Kaisen. They may be right. They honestly could be very much right, but we haven't seen that, so we can't talk.
So, something about that doesn't count because technically it started last season. So that doesn't count. And Attack on Titan doesn't count either because that's like a decade of build-up.
I don't count Attack on Titan ever in that because like any show that's like a sequel or whatever, I like just don't.
Yeah, like
unless it's like you know, obviously like you're counting it as a whole, then yeah, sure, but I don't count it as the best show of the season.
And you
per se, because not everyone's caught up.
You kind of blew my mind. What was it, last episode where you were like, it's original, like there's no source.
Yeah, it's original. Yeah,
which is crazy.
Yeah, it's by WEP Project, which just means Wonder Egg Priority.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is crazy.
I see that every time I watch the opening because the opening pretty good opening.
It's a banger. Yo, it actually slaps.
It's
crazy.
Good. So we have a lot to talk about. I feel like. I don't know where you want to start, Ray.
The last episode really got me feeling some type of way. We're already heading that way.
Okay.
But let's not go there yet.
Okay.
That's exciting. So really cool thing that just to jump out and say things. So um, the I'll quickly briefly summarize the last two episodes in a way that makes sense to everyone. Um, so we found out I forgot her name. Oh gosh,
Nehru.
Nehru is a part of like this weird cult. Um, Not cult really.
I mean,
it's
I
just like a
wouldn't
group of
say
smart
cult.
people.
I
I
wouldn't
don't
go
want
that
to say
far.
cult yet. It could be culty.
Sure. Yeah. No, you're right.
Group of people, smart people, intelligent people, and she met her dying friend on the other side.
Yep.
And did not want to pull the plug. I'm not sure if she actually did pull the plug or not on her.
It's
Assumed yes.
yeah. It's assumed yes because Otto helped her for like kind of fulfill that.
Okay, assumed yes. But met the friend on the other side. We got a hint that the cult apparently, or cult, I'll put in quotation marks, this one we're just going to be calling it for short right now. The group, the smart people group, have the other two people who were apparently originally human, like Aura and like whatever the other guy's name is, Akko. They were originally people, and then they became looking like that. And then they were talking with the one girl who looks over Nehru. That's crazy. Okay, so that's like already like building something up that's like sort of big, potentially for second season. Next episode has us focusing on the girl who looks like a guy to everyone, who meets a girl who is trans in her. She's trans.
Yes.
She wants to be a boy.
Okay. Or you know, it's not that she wants to be a boy.
She's a boy trapped in a woman's body.
Yeah. She is. Yeah. She identifies as a boy. That's how she
identifies
feels.
as a boy. She's male. So she is trans. Identifying as a male. Yes. And she crushed on him for a bit because she recognized her as a woman, which is crazy because like obviously doesn't get that often. And like earlier in the episode, she's like, I got like the school date, and he thought I was a guy, which makes it even funnier because that guy's like, hey, I'm gonna date this really nice looking guy, and it's like it was a girl in shambles.
Yeah.
Pain. Okay. But yeah, she gets her stat. She's free. She frees her friend who was making the move on her. So she's good. Then she meets like this like butterfly of death.
Yeah.
Okay. Butterfly symbolizes death. Okay. That's one thing I know. Then it's like it eats her animal, her snake. Or no, it's like her alligator.
Yeah.
It eats her alligator, and then forces her to eat the alligator as well. Implied, because you don't see her feed it to her. It's implied she ate the alligator and then threw it up, which is crazy. And then you have Ura and Akka in the background, well, we need agents of Eros to fight Thanatos, which is like, what in the world are you talking about? And I'm like, okay, so like I was like, okay, agents of Eros, right? I'm like Eros and Thanatos are like the two like sons, or whatever, of like well, they're not like are they two sons of Hades? I can't really say that for certain. They're like the two definite like children. They're like siblings or whatever, okay? But they're supposed to be love and death, which is like ridiculous. They're like brothers, and it's like so we need like love to fight death, and I'm like okay, like this is like some underlying tone here, and like and they can't use her because she already knows the pain or like fear of death, and I'm like so if she comes she has to come back of her own volition. They can't force her to do Wonder Eggs anymore. It's like what? Oh my gosh. It's like we did that flip there, and then we got like 2 episodes left, dude. It's like, are you telling me? I think it was a good summary, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Nailed it.
So we have to, so I just kind of want to go through this piece by piece because there's a lot. You just recapped it, but you even just in that said a lot of stuff. So, why don't we start with the whole Momoe bringing back her friend, right? Or seemingly what it is. So is that implied that she saved her friend and her friend is alive again?
It's implied that, yes, she lives.
Because then...
She said that your friend is alive. You brought her back. You completed your assignment. Whatever.
So...
The butterfly says that.
Right. So the reason that, like, the butterfly reaper came is because it's like life for a life. That is the consequences. You saved her. I'm here to kill you. Oh, I killed Panic instead. I will take that as payment, basically. So is that true for everyone then? And they don't know it? So like,
Is that true? I mean, she could leave at any time, right? So why was she still there?
what do you mean?
She could leave, right? Is that like they can leave at any time, or does like
Oh, sure. I mean, like, Otto could just stop doing Wonder Eggs if she wanted to.
like they could just leave out of that world though, right? If they want to, and then come back. They don't have to go anywhere. Like there's no like door or anything to take them out.
Yeah, I mean, they could just quit. You know, they're there on their own volition because they want to save someone.
Yeah, but like, does it work like that? I don't know. Like, I'm going to like meta into this. Where like, does it work if you free the person? Can you leave your own free will?
Oh, if you
Or, like-
if you free someone, are you now trapped there? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or like, is there a way to like leave? Because like, obviously she left. You know what I mean? But like, what did it take? You know? Could she have left by herself? Why she was just standing there in shock? You know? What was like feeling her emotions? You know what I mean? Like I finally did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, when that, see, that's interesting because
See, this is like reading too much into a scene right here. This is what I feel.
well, no, I didn't think of that because in my mind, when the butterfly came, they were in reality again because her statue was there, but you know it wasn't there because it got, you know, moved away.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh well, you can only see the statue in real life, but that's not true because in the first episode, Otto saw Koito's statue at the school when she was saving that one girl, and then like she got her strength and used the
Yeah, I thought
pen.
it was like only in the dream world, I guess, like where you can like really have like the statues and everything. Also, it doesn't make sense to be in the like they could be in the real world, right? But like that doesn't explain why like the gator's like really big. They would have to be in the dream world, right?
That's true. Yeah. So I completely misread that. I thought she won. She saved the you know the hat wearing you know, and she got out, and then somehow the butterfly came into reality. But yeah, she was already in the dream world. So that goes back to, I imagine that, yeah, we don't know if she was stuck there, and then because the Reaper killed Panic, that was kind of like, okay, I got what I came for, you can now leave. Or if, yeah, I don't know if she was able to leave on her own or not. That's interesting. Yeah. But
I mean, like just thinking about that, it's like again traumatizing, just like ridiculous. Okay, it's like we can assume like weeks probably go by with them doing this. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Because we're not being fed the story piece by piece. You know,
mhm.
it seems like it takes like bit by bit. You know, a couple days at least. You know, for this to build up. And then, like they are hanging out in the dream world all the time, and then that's extended. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like they're not really sleeping. When they dream, they go back. You know, sometimes. So it's like when they hunt the eggs. You know, they're living like their life so much longer. You know, obviously like they're working at. You know, whatever they do in the dream world enhances them. You know, they get like stronger mentally, but that's them also like mentally not like resting. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's crazy.
It's like so like you're mentally like there, okay?
Mhm.
And then like you're not really hanging out, right? You're fighting, you know, all this stuff. Obviously, it puts a toll on your body physically and mentally, I guess. But mentally, you know, you don't feel any like pain or anything, you know, physical pain and all that stuff come through. But like you know, you're like that gator, you know, like the pet they got. You know, you're hanging out with that for like the extended duration of time. You know what I mean? You're like it's cute, it's nice, it saves my life. You know what I mean? So like you know, you could have really bonded with that, you know, for that period of time. It's like your emotion, of course, is like, okay, this is dead. Not only that, like she forced it down my throat.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty sick.
It's either that or death. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then we do see her in the last scene where, you know, she's like huddled up and like a crazy person, like mumbling to herself.
Yeah,
and-
she's broken, dude. You can't fix her there. She's broken.
I think next episode we will see at least Otto, because that's her character, go over her house and be like, hey, is everything okay? And you know, try to help her through that.
Also, that's a potential family there, you know?
It's true. It's true.
potentially like your cousin.
So like, if we want to shift over to that, right? Because that's another big thing. I had a question, and you know, my first question is just kind of needing your help to confirm something. Do we know that the teacher is like a bad person?
No, nothing here is stated right now.
Okay. Were those just rumors that he was like messing with Koito?
We don't know what's happening, right? We definitely know for sure Koito was bullied,
Okay.
and that there was something going with the teacher. We don't know if there was any relationship there.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because every time we see the teacher, I'm like, is he really bad? Like he hasn't done anything. Like
Nothing has been stated for certain.
okay.
It's been rumors about him. We know Oto likes him, so that also influences the rumors to some degree. Oto has seen Koito, hanging out with the teacher, in private,
hmm
and acting as a muse. Where also Oto was also acting as a muse for him, so I guess Oto thought that she was special in her mind. So seeing him do that with Koito as well, maybe she thinks that she's not as special as she wasn't before.
Yeah. She did finally do what she was planning on doing. Where like, I think you talked about it last time, where it was like, Oto is trying to get close to the teacher to get information, right? And it ended where exactly I thought it was gonna end. As soon as she asked the question,
she popped it.
yeah. As soon as she asked the question, I was like, we're not gonna see him answer. It's gonna cut, and the episode cut, and I was like, yep, that's exactly what's gonna happen.
It was a beautiful cut, by the way. Like, the show is well done with what it does. It knows when to feed information, when to hold it back.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Like, we don't have to see every detail immediately.
So it has to be something though, right? Because why else would he keep this from her? If the story that everyone is believing was true, why would he withhold information from her? You know what I mean? Like, why would...
It could be that just she never asked.
That's fair. Yeah, she never asked. She never really talked to him before.
She just, like, stayed
Yeah.
by herself for an extended duration of time. Not talking to anyone about it.
Yeah. I'm interested to see if there's
Now she
anything
asked.
deeper.
She finally, wants to know.
I don't know, something I don't remember what episodes they were because they kind of blended together, but did we already see the whole, I don't think we did, the whole Rika thing with her basically like giving up? Do you remember that when she was in the fight and she just gave up and she was like, take me?
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah, we didn't talk about it.
Yeah, because I think that was in 7 and 8.
Yeah, that was 7. Oh yeah, because we did 4 episodes. My bad, guys. We talked
Right,
about
so
1 at a time.
I remember wanting to text you about this and then being like, no, we're gonna talk about it, and then we never did, and I forgot. But like, do you know how crazy that would have been if
she just died?
Yeah, if they went through with that, of like, yeah, she went through with it and she basically killed herself in the thing, and now everyone else has to deal with that. You know what I mean?
The show could have went hard in so many different ways. Like, again, I was feeling like it's not going as hard as, like, let's say Madoka. It could have really.
Sure.
Like, technically, we have magical girls right here.
We do.
Like, Madoka goes kind of hard with the characters and what happens. Like, it's not afraid to, like, kill them off, you know what I mean?
I was a little disappointed that they didn't do it, but then I was like, I'm fine with it because...
It's fine because it's a character girl, right? You're gonna say something like that?
Yeah, because she, through that it was like, oh, I kind of see where my mom was coming from, I shouldn't give up on her. I shouldn't be so mad at her because she was like totally against the mom and totally on the dad's side, the dad who she's never met. Doesn't make any sense.
It's not that. It's more like she would rather meet her father, but her mother doesn't even want to, like, even try to attempt to make her meet him.
Right, which is tough.
But to be fair, there's like 8 different people who's like your dad, so I don't know what to say.
Yeah, he doesn't even know. Yeah, I thought it was a great moment. At first it was spoiled, but then I was like, I'm fine with it. I get why they did it. Even though they could have went crazy, killed her, and then put that on everyone's shoulders to be like, hey, your best friend or one of your best friends.
One of the people you were close with, just like
Yeah.
straight up iced themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't just die. Like she gave up doing this.
It's like, and plus, like, the funny thing, they can hear it, like what everyone else is doing. That's crazy as well.
Yeah. So yeah, we talked about that. Wasn't really any more Momoe stuff to talk about. I was very happy for her that she met someone or a couple people, I guess, who kind of liked her for her. That was one thing with her, was in the last couple episodes, she met a guy, right? And it was like super happy, everything like that. But the guy thought that she was a guy.
Yeah.
Which was weird. And then when she was telling her friends, like Oto and everyone, they were like, we can't laugh at this with you, because that's kind of weird for, like, Momoe saw it in a weird light of, like, she met someone.
Even guys like think I'm guys or whatever.
Yeah, like, she met someone who didn't care about gender, which is cool, but like her friends are like, but you're not a guy, so he liked you for the wrong reasons. Like I don't know if we can be happy with you for this. It's kind of like a nervous laughter of like, haha, yeah, that's cool, but
yeah. But then the guy said there's not gonna be another date because I thought you were.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like where it gets weird.
But he's like, I'll be nice and continue to date. You know what I mean? Which is, by the way, that's stellar of that guy. By the way,
super admirable.
He's like, I called you here. We might as well do it. I'll tell you right now. There's not gonna be a round two. It's like imagine saying that up front. That's crazy.
Yeah.
They're just like, we're not gonna have a second date. Like you're 5 minutes in and you're like, what?
Yeah. But like,
it's like, don't want to raise your hopes.
We talked about this with Falcon Winter Soldier, where it was like, oh, it's like really cool that they're touching on like more sensitive topics of like racism, right? Where it's like Disney doesn't have to do that.
Doesn't try.
And then with this show, they are kind of hitting a lot of different like talking points where it's like, oh, we kind of do talk about like gender identity and like and like suicide and like like we are talking about these things, and we're not we're not just using them as plot points, like we are trying to do it respectfully.
Critical points for the characters,
Yeah, like who these characters are, like they're real. Yeah, I don't know, I just thought that was really cool.
Sexual abuse as well. Yeah, of course.
Dude, that was crazy, where that guy, who was talking with Momoe, his story with like, yeah, I went to my, what is it?
Your kendo teacher.
Yeah, kendo teacher, because I thought he was cool, but it turns out he wasn't. And then we see the scene of like him basically raping her and like making her making him pregnant and stuff, and it was like.
And then she killed herself and the baby.
Yeah, like, oh my god, dude! Like I was watching it and I was like, this isn't real. This isn't happening. This is nuts.
The show goes hard, dude. It's imagine watching episode 1 and thinking, oh, this is a nice show.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
and it doesn't hold back from the topics, at least, definitely. What was it? You reminded me, so I have to kind of pull up a nice one-shot manga for you to read.
Okay.
Oh, you're gonna love it. Stripping the Flesh.
Sure.
It's another, like, okay, so we'll preface this. Another a manga with the concept of gender identity, where you have like someone who was born a woman, who always found themselves as a man.
Okay.
It's a one-shot manga, so it's nice and short, like 60 pages or whatever. Have some fun with that. You're gonna love it. It's pretty well executed, and the imagery does make sense.
Okay.
The title is weird, Stripping the Flesh, but when you read it, you'll understand.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
No gore or anything like that, I must stress.
Sure, yeah, I could totally see how. Stripping the flesh.
Yeah.
But
Maybe we talk about that like next episode or whatever. If you actually go into reading that'd be fun.
Yeah, I will.
It's been a while since like we did a simple manga. It's a one shot though, so it's nice, nice and short and simple.
Yeah. I think that if we ever do, like manga or whatever, or books, I guess. If we ever do that again, it would have to be like shorter ones, because you just gotta find the time, you know.
Yeah, again, I read it. It was great. It was wonderful. It opened my eyes, definitely. Because I was looking at the comments, a lot of people were saying like this is how a lot of people feel, with their like way they are, Like, so getting that like mindset, generated. It's like, okay, so this is like, I'm understanding more because I can't understand it now physically
Sure.
or mentally. So, my point of view, I'm a cis male, not white, of course.
Not white.
But
That's me. That's me.
Yeah, that's you. Yeah. So yeah. So I can't understand them, but I can like with through this I have like some sympathy or empathy for them. I can like put myself in their shoes a bit. At least when the manga's written, it portrays it well apparently. So
that's always something that I like when, because I feel the same as you, where it's like I can never 100% understand this. I can empathize. I can that kind of thing. But like I always like when there is portrayals in books or movies or whatever where I can watch them and read them and be like, okay, this is helping me understand this thing more, rather than me just being ignorant and guessing, or you know what I mean. And it's actually executed well, and even better if it's executed by people in that situation, so it's even more authentic, and it's more like supporting that. That's always great.
Yeah, like it's a great thing. Actually, I think it's also going back to Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think that's why a lot of people are actually liking the portrayal of racism in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Even though like the most recent episodes obviously didn't touch on it, but a lot of people were liking I lost like 3, like how episode 2 did it with the way it was portraying it, and with Sam, like really getting upset at like why, like is it happening to him?
Mm-hmm.
Like the police car scene, I think is like one that like everyone brings up. How that's like how most it would go down,
Yeah, it's a great scene.
I can't say I experienced like racism like that, but
yeah.
I've experienced my own share.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's great.
Nothing
Again,
like super far or rash, obviously, but enough that's still like, hey, stop it, yo.
Sure. I mean, but like any racism at all is not okay, no matter how big or small. But yeah, I mean that is one of my favorite scenes in the entire show right now. I mean, it's only 3 episodes, but like, because that does, again, I've never experienced that, but that does feel like what people have talked about who've experienced that, where it's just random. It's just like, literally weren't doing anything. We are actual friends. We know each other. And
yeah. So like, the scene as well, like it goes like, okay, like we both know each other. We are merely like talking.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you asking for my ID? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like we don't have weapons.
It's like we are arguing, yes, but we know each other.
Yeah.
This is not escalating.
we haven't
Stay out of it.
We haven't put hands on each other. It's like, yeah, we're arguing. Our voices are a little raised, but like, we're not like, you can tell by someone's body language if they're aggressive or not. And like neither one of them were. They were just in a heated conversation. That's all it was. But these cops, you know what I mean, right? Crazy.
Yeah, man. Also showing again, police in America.
Yeah, police in America.
Shout out there.
Well, I don't know if shout out's the right word.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Man, gotta get that blue stripe flag,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, is there anything else with Wonder Egg, Ray? Oh, any theories?
I can't predict anything, dude. Wonder Egg can go hard at this point.
So
all I can say is that according to whatever Ura and Akka are saying some nonsense on, our girls are agents of Eros because they know love.
Yeah, so you talking about that is kind of like enlightening for me, because don't recognize those names at all. I just I'm sure they were important, but like you saying, oh, they're kind of like children or whatever of Hades, that's really cool, because like I know Hades.
I don't know if they're children of Hades or whatever, but they're definitely like Eros and Thanatos are like 2 sides of the same coin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, love and death, or like love and war, you know what I mean? Because Thanatos is like god of like the dead or whatever. Like he's the one who actually goes and like reaps the souls.
Okay.
Eros, more of a god of love or passion.
Do you think?
I think like obviously he's like a son of like Aphrodite.
Yeah.
And Thanos, I think, is like a son of like Hades, but like 2 sides again of the coin.
So I have a couple things here. I don't really have any predictions either, because I can't pinpoint anything, which I love about this show.
It's broad enough that it can go anyway, so we'll have to see.
Because it's like, is there gonna be like a fight scene in the end? Like, are they literally physically battling? Like,
is there gonna be a season 2?
Right.
Yeah.
Which is my next thing. 2 episodes left, so they could close it out and it could be a complete story and we could love it and we could not need a second season. But it definitely is looking like they have, like, them mentioning those names and then you kind of giving me some context for them. It feels like this whole season is happening and it's great and it's awesome. But then these last couple episodes are gonna be like, we're breaking really the world wide open, and you guys have no idea what is about to happen, which is great.
What did again, with it being an original, dude, again, blown out of the water. Also, animation's been on point like every episode.
Yes.
Great choice of color, by the way. Color palettes are on point as well.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually
I'm out here, it's like I'm watching JoJo's with these color palettes.
I was actually going to mention that to you, where it's like, you mentioned how, first episode, it's so, like, not innocent because there's a little bit here and there, but, like, it's just kind of normal. You might have the wrong idea, and then the second episode starts going hard. These fight scenes, the animation, there is no reason these fight scenes should look as good as they do.
And, again, all unique, in their own way.
Yes.
It's not like...
each one, yeah. I don't know what I was saying. Okay, so there was one more thing. I don't know if you know this, Ray, but I don't know if the finale aired yet. I think it did. I don't know. But there is another episode coming out. Episode, like, 13, quote-unquote.
That's for Wonder Egg?
Yes, that's releasing in June.
Ooh.
And it's like, they talked about it being like, oh, here's, like, the real finale. But then they kind of... The way they talked about it, it was like, this is a continuation. So it's like, does that mean season 2? Is this like a bridge between season 1 and season 2? You know what I mean?
Like, saying episode 13 makes me feel like I'll say something for Evangelion, dude. Because Evangelion has, like, the ending, and then there's the movie end of Evangelion, which is like an alternate ending.
Sure.
Which is like how people intended, how it was supposed to end. It's like, both endings, I guess, happen simultaneously. It just matters on what you see for, or like, they're supposed to be happening sometimes, but they're two separate ways the show could have ended, depending on the scenario.
Okay.
Or like one gives you an idea of more of one way than the other. I don't want to. There's no real spoilers for Eva there, other than saying that, hey, there's an alternate ending. But End of Eva is basically considered the ending that is supposed to be. I watched both though. Both good in their own way.
Yeah, the show was nuts, right? You mentioned in, like, they're part of that group or whatever. I mean that right there just opens it up, where it's like, what is this?
What is the point of the group, right? Like, what is the point?
And then you already talked about it. Nehru's friend was, like, experimenting with death, basically, and it's like, how does that incorporate into what they're doing? Like, what are the eggs?
Also, like, she specifically says she doesn't want adults to touch her body.
Yeah, and, like, what does that mean? Why? Like, it was...
Does that mean she doesn't want the higher-ups to touch her body?
Yeah.
For any case or scenario?
Yeah. Those...
Again, there's a lot of stuff that you can throw around,
I think those two guys, where he's like, Ura and Akka, you said? I think those guys mentioned it very slightly, but it was like, she gave Nehru a hint as to what this is. So, like, to me, there is some crazy thing happening, and her friend was trying to coax her into the answer, into, like, what's really going on, because, like, Nehru knows more than Otto and Momoe.
She's the smartest person in the group, honestly.
Right.
Probably the smartest person we've seen.
But, like,
other than, like, the original, like, people created the Wonder Eggs and whatnot, you know what I mean?
Right. And so if there's stuff that she doesn't know, what are these 2 episodes gonna be? You know what I mean? Like, what is happening?
Well, we hype ourselves up, we always put on the hype,
But,
can't
like,
wait for it just to bomb.
And, like,
but it feels like it's gonna be hyped up, so.
These words have never come back around on us, but, like, how could this be bad? Like, how could they possibly mess up these last 2 episodes? There's no way, right? It has to be good.
What was it? The Demon Show's getting a season 2.
It is, yeah.
I just don't like the way season 1 ended.
I don't really know what season 2 would be of that show. Like, it's just...
See, that's what I'm saying, right?
Is it like him
But
just
I guess
doing...
they still haven't found out, like, who was, like, the real, like, you know, who's the one who took, like, his spot or whatever.
But, like, how much do we care? Are we gonna watch another 12 episodes of him just doing random stuff?
We may not watch it, but I mean, like...
Sure.
Or maybe I will watch it for fun. Like, on my own, you know, casually. Like, I'll speed up the episodes, maybe, and just, like, have a blast.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fun episodes. I'll say that for as much. They're not boring.
They were fun, yeah. I wasn't...
They're more exciting than Cells at Work Black.
Oh, 100%. I wasn't really bored at all throughout that show. I don't think.
Tyler hating on the obvious satire of fan service in the show.
I mean...
But his harem of women.
It wasn't fan service that I was mad at. It was just like, does this have to be a harem? You know? Like, does it have to be?
See, I thought of it as a satire because he doesn't care about the harem. It's so like above him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The entire concept of the harem
fair.
is so below him. He's like, I just don't care. So you do what you want. Like, I have the fan club. I thought it was funnier when like the fan club later had the power to like bring people back to life and like invigorate them.
Yeah.
But like, don't quote me on that.
So you mentioning some shows that are coming out soon, Ray. I feel like we kind of covered Wonder Egg. I don't think there's anything else for us to talk about other than...
Oh no, we covered it.
We are
Wonder Egg
hype
is, like,
for the next 2
we're
episodes.
excited.
But...
Imagine we were watching Jujutsu Kaisen, dude. We would have...
Yeah.
We've been over the roof.
We would have really had like triple up on episodes though, because that's like a 2-season show.
Why'd I hit animate the hell? Anyway.
So if you, I don't know what you're doing, Ray, but if you want to head over to Mal, I feel like this is a good time. I feel like this is a good time for us to start talking about next season, or I guess this season, because I think it already started.
Okay, so shows we got, I think we already talked about it. Have you decided what your show pick is?
So here's the thing, Ray. Here's what I did. We have next season, okay, everyone. We have next season. Next week we are finishing our 2 shows, okay? So everyone, finish watching them. We're gonna talk about it. It's gonna be great. One of them gonna be greater than the other. But which one will be which? You know. But we now have to figure out what our next season is going to be. I have collected a list of 5 shows, Ray. My top 5 for next season. I don't know how much they overlap with what you want, but I'm just gonna throw them out there, and we could talk about it a little bit. Maybe
because like they have a good amount of sequels in here as well, which is why I'm like
exactly. And then we even have some shows that I think we already talked about us not doing, like
yeah, like I said, like we're not doing Shaman King, or
So
because Shaman King is gonna be like 52 episodes.
Yeah, it's 52 episodes, and I was like, oh, I would kind of like to do this, but not 52 episodes. That's literally a year.
Shaman King and classic shonen, so like if you want to like I guess get some of that old 90s 2000 shonen vibe, Shaman King's up your alley, and
or
with
like,
new anime.
Or we're not gonna do Nagatoro because both of us are reading it, so it's like it wouldn't really be much of a discussion. But so here's the 5, Ray. You have Mal open. I can't really open up my computer because the recording will be kind of weird.
Yeah, that's fine.
But so...
I'm just sitting... Okay, so if anyone wants to know why. Tyler is recording said screen.
Yeah.
I just record my said audio.
Yeah.
He's also recording his audio, by the way. So we can have all this work together. So I have the freedom to look at my said screen. Soon,
when I get a new computer, I'm going to get 2 monitors, which is going to be crazy. I'm going to be living, like, high life,
king?
Like a king, yeah. So I'm just going to run down them, Ray, and then you can kind of... maybe if you want to...
I think I do remember us saying that we did want to do Princess of Snow and Blood.
Okay, so we can talk about that one first if you want.
Are we still on that?
We have Joran, the Princess of Snow and Blood. Okay. If you want to maybe read the synopsis, Ray? If it's really long...
It sounds interesting to me. I'm definitely excited. It's like a, historical, fantasy, demons and ghosts and all that stuff.
If you want to pull it up, could you actually read a little bit of the synopsis? Unless it's like really long, then just read like a part of it.
Set in alternate history Japan, 1931, Meiji era. The Tokugawa shogunate never abolished. Meiji was never restored to power. We follow the activities of Niue, an organization of executioners who enforce the government, who have their own energy source and have science, and so it's like science and supernatural stuff happening. And yada yada. Family was killed by and she looks for the execution of the Niue or whatever. But she's the Princess of Snow and Blood, right? Yeah. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, so that one, I think I mentioned it last time, but like, I think that one has the potential of being the sleeper of the season because,
Really?
yeah, because I mean, Mal isn't like the end all be all, but that is lower on the list in terms of how many people have like added it to their list or whatever.
Like that's up there with Shadow's House too. Shadow's House is pretty low on here, and I thought Shadow's House would be higher.
Yeah, so that one just sounded cool. I mean, we can't play the video on here because again, it'll mess everything up. But like, the animation looks good. The art style looks pretty cool. The whole like
The story seems decent. Doesn't seem like a bad story.
Yeah.
Maybe it will, but it doesn't seem like awful from the get go.
And like, it's harder, I think you correct me if I'm wrong, Ray, but I feel like you are more into like the historical genre than I am.
I am more into the historical genre. I mean, I'm a big fan of Golden Kamuy.
Yep, which is another
and
thing I
Vinland
have
Saga
to
and
read.
Kingdom.
Yeah.
So I do like myself more of the historical genre.
I like the historical genre, but not in anime.
I did get you into that one manga that was historical. But that's more like it has its own like way of going about it.
Oh, sure.
Mhm.
But this, my whole point in saying that was that like, the fact that this has caught my eye, I think says something for it being a historical and like other stuff too. But like, I think that says something. Another one, Ray, number 2, I'm going in reverse order for some reason, is Mars Red. If you want to go up to Mars Red.
1923, Vampires, Code Zero, taking down vampiric forces. Has been usually used in information war, but they've been reassigned to fight vampires in 1920s Japan.
Yeah, so vampires, not really my genre, unless we're talking about Cirque du Freak, But like, this seems really cool of like secret armies and like governments kind of going against each other, trying to, gain power, and
fight vampires.
Yeah, I just thought that looked cool. And again, like, for all these, I'm not gonna say it every time because it's true for all of them, or else I wouldn't have picked them. But like, animation looks good, art style looks cool, so.
So I'm rooting for Shadow's House.
Next one is 86. Thought that was cool. It's a lot of again, it's like a secret army thing. It reminds me a lot of Hunger Games, where it's like every place is like, oh, we know what's going on, and like we're running smooth, but then there's this one place that's kind of separated from everywhere else that kind of has to do all the grunt work, and we don't talk about what goes on over there because if we did, people would be very suspicious. Kind of like more of like a sci-fi sort of thing.
But yeah, 86 has to do with like these like autonomous drones or whatever that are manned by people.
Yep.
So like they have like their war crime stories here.
So I thought that one looked cool. Number 4, I mentioned it to you already, but Tokyo Revengers, I think looks cool. It's basically and I know it's like gangs. I don't know if this one was like a motorcycle thing or if it was just regular gang, on the streets. But yeah, it did basically remind me of Erased, where it was like, oh,
you're right. I read the synopsis. It does give me that Erased sort of vibe.
Yeah.
At least from the basic premise, I'll say.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, there's this girl that died, and I'm now magically transported to the past to where she was still alive, and like I think where he was like with her, like in a relationship, and I have the ability to figure out who killed her and why, and then how to save her life, basically, which is literally what Erased was. Except I don't think they were friends.
They couldn't save their life. They were just trying to be like, who's the murderer?
Yeah, who would? Yeah. I mean, he was trying to save it, but he couldn't because it was impossible. That just had to happen. Because it wasn't a race like every time he tried to change something, like the outcome had to be the same. It was like predestined. How like no, she has to die. It doesn't matter what you do.
It's like I think like the point he went back in time was too late for her not to die. It's
Right.
like if that was the catalyst for like what he was doing, then yeah, he could do it.
Mm-hmm.
But like it was already way too gone past that for him to do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Unless technically he was able to stop the murderer like way before, but then that would change the entire outcome of the future for him.
Exactly.
You know
right.
what I mean?
God, I really like that show. And then the last one, Ray. Shockingly enough, this is the only rom-com I have on my list. I tried to restrain myself from having 4 out of 5 of these being rom-coms, but you mentioned this, so I don't know if we're gonna do this one because.
It was the I brought a high school girl home and I shaved.
I shaved brought a high school girl home. I don't know if we're gonna do that one because did you like read the source of that already?
That's actually a light novel source. I've been reading the manga.
Okay. So I don't know. If you do already know stuff about it, I don't know if we should do that one because I want everything to be fresh. But
this one's it's kind of like Shadow's House for me, where I was like, I technically have read some of the source. I just haven't been reading a lot of it yet. Like I'm chapters behind is what I'd say on both of them.
Okay.
Definitely not caught up on both.
Yeah. So maybe we shouldn't do that one, but just for people out there, because I still might watch this just in terms of I like to stay on top of the current season. It's basically a rom-com and it's basically that. it's what you think a rom-com would be. Kind of fall in love with this girl who just kind of came home, who just met, and we chilling. Generic rom-com that actually looks pretty cool. There's about 5 of those this season, and a couple of those do not look good. They look like they can get super vanilla very quickly.
Shadow's House is very interesting. I highly recommend anyone to look into Shadow's House.
What is that about?
Well, it's another one of the ones on the manga as I said I've touched on.
Sure.
But Shadow's House is like a weird mystery is the way to best put it, but it where like you're trying to it goes over like the story of this one girl who lives as a servant to these shadow people. Or like this one shadow girl who looks exactly like her.
Mm-hmm.
It's really odd, But it's more about the mystery as to why this is here. Because first of all, I'll hit you with this. Shadow's House, again, she's like a servant to someone who looks exactly like her, except she's all, don't want to say this to sound weird, black, like a shadow. That's crazy.
Sure, yeah.
But like she's just a human servant to like these shadow people who is just a reflection of her. And like the entire time you're like, what is this? Why is she like a servant for her? Where are they? What is causing this to happen? Is there anyone else like this? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Questions like that kind of pop in your head.
Sounds cool.
And it feeds itself as it goes on.
So Ray, obviously taking away all of the sequels and the ones that we have already not seen but like read and whatever, are there any other ones minusing I guess those 4 that I already mentioned that you want to kind of throw into the bucket, throw into the hat, that kind of thing?
Just for everyone to say, like, again, just to have like a one to watch out for. I feel like everyone's gonna watch out for To You the Immortal, but I mean I've already read most of the manga,
okay,
so that's a high skip.
Mm-hmm.
Not because it's bad, because I've already read most of it. I feel like I'll catch it later. One here that's interesting, I guess, Seijo no Maryoku no Bano Desu. I don't know if anyone's gonna tell me my pronunciation is wrong there. Which is, I guess, the power of the saint is all around in Japanese. It's interesting because it's another one that's I'll hit you with this. It's an isekai. Wow.
Sure.
But more like it's an isekai about really rejecting the isekai.
Mm-hmm.
As in, like, she's summoned as a saint over to this other world. But like she wasn't summoned alone; she was summoned with someone else as well. But everyone else likes the other girl over her.
Ooh.
So she just retires, and she's like, I can just live my own life here. I'm happy as long as no one else thinks I'm a saint.
Okay.
So more like rejecting the standard isekai hero trope.
Sure, like just you got isekai, but you're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna live over here. I'm good.
So it
You
plays
know?
out more like a fantasy, which is like.
Yeah,
But then it also has like that classic isekai. Isekai is very easy, I say, to get people in because it's a very simple thing. With a isekai, you have a basis for your character to understand the protagonist, and the protagonist to understand the world. You know what I mean? And then it's very simple world building from there. You can work your way up with. Because with that understanding, you can then relate everything to something else.
yeah, yeah. I definitely think isekai is like the cheapest genre. It's like
It feels cheap, but there's a way to do it correctly or not
yeah,
to cheapen the experience.
I feel like it's that genre that it's very easy to get people like interested, but then to actually keep that interest for 12 episodes is not easy because there's been so many.
Hmm. It definitely is an oversaturated genre right now.
Oh yeah,
I'd argue it has become a staple genre as well. Like, we could like say like standard shonen and whatnot. Like, and now look at them and be like, hey, that's an isekai, So it's a typical show, Not really surprised by it anymore.
yeah.
But yeah, that one looked interesting enough to like, because like the rejection of the isekai is always nice to see.
Yeah, yeah. The rejection. Is there any
I would
else?
say that Nazcon, because I mean it's a pseudo sequel, so but I mean
What was?
the 4S dot Dinazanon.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a
It's kind of
pseudo-sequel.
a sequel.
I'm not sure if I haven't seen it, so I can't consider whether or not it's a sequel or whether it's just in the same universe or whatnot. Odd Taxi is where it's actually at.
So that one is on my list. It's not on my list for us to do, but like I did see it and I was like, oh, it's kind of an interesting concept.
Yeah, watch V-Stars one time, dude.
Fuck yeah. I am mostly through the second season of that. I've almost finished it.
Oh, another one, Shumatsu no Valkyrie is gonna be coming out. But again, manga I've already touched on. It should be hype for like a battle royale, standard fighting tournament.
Mm-hmm.
People love those type of shows.
Yeah, they do. I feel like those are kind of getting popular.
Again, Oh, and then with Shaman coming back, fighting tournaments are gonna be coming back even harder.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's a good time to have a fighting tournament show. You know what I mean?
It's definitely a good time.
Kind of in the resurgence. Megalobox also here. Another fighting tournament. Need I say more? We're kind of like, there's a way to do fighting tournaments, and I think like modern anime has kind of like found a way to do it.
Yeah, they kind of found their groove.
Mm-hmm. Like I don't mind a good fighting anime / manga. I'll read them.
Same, yeah.
Or watch 'em. Again, like I don't think God of High School is bad necessarily. I've read like most of it. I think. I just think that after a while I dropped it because I'm like I just can't handle it anymore. I just don't think it's good enough to warrant me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like once you have people with godlike abilities, I mean, need I say more? Like,
Yeah, it is tough to keep you interested.
and like, yeah, you limit it, or like it's like it's putting a real strain on their life, but it's like okay, and what, dude? My man can control the law of physics. Does that need to say anything? He can control the weak force, the strong force, and the force of gravity. Are you and the electromagnetic force? It's like, what are you talking about? And it's like you just lose. There's loss.
Yeah, you have no hope.
And it's like if you control all 4 of those, he controls the world. So tell me that.
Literally, yeah. So yeah, Ray. If you want to do it like that, which is, I think how we've done it most times, if we just want to come up with our own pick, do you have any one or any 2 or something like that that you kind of want to?
They close down. Okay, it's still good.
Because, I mean, it'd be easier if I had like the videos in front of me for me to really get into it. But like, I think mine is probably the Snow and Blood one, just because I remember reading it and then watching the trailers and being like, this looks nuts. I really hope it's good. I really hope it's like a good story and like, it's not on people's radar because people think it's gonna be bad. Let me actually pull up, because I can pull up the images.
Another thing is like, I feel like Hellsing was like a really popular vampire anime. So let me just You know?
Yeah. Next season.
What is this? It looks interesting. We're just watching Mars Red right now.
Mars
Trailer.
Red does look cool.
He doesn't look bad.
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
It doesn't look bad. Again, it's really hard to say anime's bad because most anime just get scores of like 7s or whatnot. And then to say like 7 is average is kind of like weird because then like 8's supposed to be like, or like a 5's supposed to be average.
I feel like the app is garbage when it comes to looking at seasonal stuff. Oh, that's why, because we're already in the next season. That's why it wasn't working. Okay, alright. Is Horimiya, is that like an ongoing show?
Is it ongoing? The manga just ended.
I don't know what's going on right now. Where's the show I'm looking for? Ooh, it doesn't have a good score so far. Doesn't mean it won't be good. But ooh, it's original too. That's really could go either way. Yeah, it only has a 6.7. What are the other ones? Mars Red. What's Mars Red looking like? That has like a 7. That's not bad. What are the other ones?
Like, I'm sorry, I was just going ahead and watching those trailers there. Honestly, don't know. You could just pick legitimately.
86. What's 86 looking like?
86 looks good, animation wise.
Are you still looking at the trailers?
No, I'm done with that.
Can you tell me what all the current scores are for the shows I already said?
Okay, current scores. Tokyo Revengers, no score.
Okay, that hasn't aired
86,
yet.
no score.
Hasn't aired yet.
Mars Red, 7.09.
That's not bad.
Princess of Snow and Blood, 6.77.
Yeah, that worries me.
The episode 1 worries you?
Yeah, 6.778 isn't that great. You know, when it's under 7, that's kind of worrisome. It's like, ooh, like, is it just starting out slow? Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Cause like, honestly, whenever you look at something that has less than a 7 on Mal, it's usually because it's not that great. You can literally pick any
Yeah,
anime.
like 7 Deadly Sins.
Seven Deadly Sins wasn't the show that got like bad in the second season, where people turned their backs on it, or is that a different show?
I don't know if people turned their I turn my backs on the manga. I don't know about the anime, how they're doing that.
What about Sword Art, Ray? How do you feel? Why don't you go to Sword Art the first season? Tell me what score it has.
Honestly, Sword Art first season may have like the highest score out of the entire Sword Art series.
But what is the score?
It's like a 7.23.
Okay, so that's not great.
Okay, and let me hear this. Sword Art Online 2 is like a 6.7.
Ooh,
Okay.
ooh.
And Alice's Asian's like a 7.5. And you saw the movie, so I'll say the movie as well here.
Oh,
The movie was like a 7.63.
I feel like this is a big decision. If you're giving me
Because
the
like-
power, that's a lot of pressure on me.
Like, let me hear this, okay? Like, Sword Art, as I'll tell you what I always say about Sword Art, okay? I'm just gonna reiterate it for everyone who hasn't heard the quote from Rayman. However many times I've said it. Sword Art, you know, it always starts out great, you know?
Mhm.
Like every season. I haven't finished Alice's Asian, so I can't speak on that. But like somehow they find a way to make it not so good in the ending. And just make me feel like maybe I should just not have watched the last like 3 or 4 episodes.
Mhm.
The movie can't do that because the movie has an assorted time just to make it work, and they had to make it work, otherwise it wasn't gonna sell. I'm kidding, it was gonna sell anyway. It's Sword Art.
Yeah, basically at this point.
But yeah, that's my opinion of Sword Art season 1 and 2. Take that as you will.
So, if you're giving me all the power, right? Is that
Yeah,
what
you
you're doing
got the power.
basically?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I were to pick 2 shows, I would do Snow and Blood
Blood.
and Tokyo Revengers.
Okay.
Those would be the 2 I'd pick.
That's fine. That's dandy. I have no complaints. All of them looked good, so I can't complain. Let me just be
Okay.
honest.
Cause like Snow and Blood for me is like my own like guilty
Personal
pleasure
pick, yeah.
pick, I guess, where it's
Like,
like this kind of my
feels
selfish
nice at
pick.
home. Mhm.
Yeah, and then Tokyo Revengers looks like it can legitimately be a solid show, you know.
Okay. Yeah. And you picked. I'm assuming you picked that as a backup just in case if it like
Yeah,
Snow and Blood kind of bombed and you're like, I gotta like lean back on something.
I mean like, yeah, I mean honestly, out of the four, I think Tokyo Revengers is the safest pick because 86.
You know, that's a good question for myself. Let me go take a look actually at Promised Neverland season 2.
People hate Promised Neverland season 2.
What's the score on that? Because that really would tell you 5.85. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Again, okay, so. Okay.
If you're better than a 5.85, I think you're like.
People definitely review bombed that for one, and for because like
I will say that for a second.
yeah.
I'll say definitely people definitely have review bombed that for certain. But you can't just raise our hopes in season 1 and be like, this is so good. And in season 2, you already have material, by the way. This is like the crazy thing. Decide to reject the material and then rush the ending anyway.
I haven't finished the second season yet, but I
They
have
rushed
seen.
the ending. They jam-packed that and ended the show.
Yeah, I've seen people talk about it. I think it was trending on Twitter the one day when it finished or whatever, and it was like, if you guys want any indication of how rushed Promised Neverland was, they literally, and this might be exaggeration, but they someone said that they literally put an entire arc of the show into one shot, or one arc of the manga. They condensed it into just a single shot in the anime, like one shot. It was like something to do with like a dragon or something, and it was just like, yeah, they didn't touch on this at all. It was just a dragon is here now, and that was it. And I was like, ooh, I wonder how true that is, and that to be
I
fair,
don't know how many chapters this. I can definitely say like I think above 80 chapters were just condensed.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I saw, where it was like, yeah, they fit 100 chapters into one season. It's like I don't think that's
This
normal.
could take like another season, maybe like a second.
Yeah.
Even though it could have been long, I don't think people would have hated if it was like 3 or 4 seasons. I think people would have enjoyed it more.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. They definitely crashed and burned, where the first season
And the
was
thing is,
so.
like, you can't say like the author like did not see this coming. The author like signed off on this.
Yeah, and there's a couple reasons there. Either the author just cared about the money, or the author didn't have as much say as they would have liked, which has happened before, and the studio kind of took over and was like, no, here's what we're going to do. I don't know which is correct, but
Yeah, who knows? I mean, honestly.
the outcome was not favorable. Because yeah, like it definitely crashed and burned, where the first season got so much acclaim.
Praise. It got everyone hyped to season 2. That's the thing. Like, imagine hyping it up, and then having what people are going to consider the worst show of that season.
Yeah, I mean, I was hyped for it. I mean, I remember when it first came out, I was watching it and I was talking to you about it because you read the manga, and like, you did warn me of like, oh well, first season is, what they covered first season is probably like the best,
Yeah.
but it shouldn't have been that bad,
Yeah, I definitely thought, like, I'll say this because like I already said it earlier in like whatever episode. Season 2 I thought was going to be Goldie Pond. We'll get that.
and we didn't. Just skipped right over that.
Just coasted there. It's like, what? You...
Which is crazy. I mean, to me, I don't know what the author thought, but I think the studio was definitely like, okay, we're just gonna fit everything into season 2, and that kind of forced them to cut certain things, and like maybe it didn't make sense to put that arc into this season because they had to fit literally the entire rest of the story into this second season. I mean that's not excusing it, but like that might have been the ultimate reason, where I was like, yeah, we just gotta fit everything, which is dumb, which is really stupid.
It's like, now I know the manga had like, say, a bad ending, quote unquote, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't think it was anything as bad as they could possibly like show with this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone was happy with the second season. I think they were all upset. But yeah, Rayman, those are the two shows we're gonna do. Tokyo Revengers and Joran, the Princess of Snow and Blood. Unless we change our minds next week, because we still have another week, but those will probably be the two shows. And yeah, man, so we still have more anime to talk about, though, because we're gonna be doing some more shows, right?
Oh.
I kind of talked to Ray about it, but
What? This is the first time I'm hearing of it.
First
That's a
time
joke.
I'm
That is a joke.
Because
Stress.
my idea was we've been doubling up on this season because we were behind. I think we literally started like halfway into the season, so that's why it worked out. But inadvertently, it has been the better option because now we have more episodes to talk about, and it's never like a dull moment. Unless we talk about cells at work, then it's kind of energy's kind of low. But I figure we keep doing that, so we're going to do that with this season as well, where we're going to kind of alternate the weeks. So like 1 week we'll cover 2, and then we'll skip, and then 3 and 4. It all makes sense once we actually start doing it. But in the blank weeks, the empty weeks of seasonal, I figure we do other shows. Okay. Same deal. The 2 episode thing. It's gonna be great. So Ray, I've compiled a list. I've come prepared of some older shows we could do. I mean, I just kind of sprung this on you today, so you weren't able to prepare.
No, I'm never prepared.
So
You have Mal up.
Yeah. So if you want to throw out some names, you can, or we can always. We still have next week too to make a final decision on this, but I have come a little bit prepared. I came with I think like 10 different picks because it was hard for me to whittle them down. Because as I told you, before the episode started, I don't know if it was before or after. I think it was before. My anime list is about 750 shows long, so hard to cut it down to a good size. We don't really talk about all these in depth. I just kind of want to rattle them off to you. And the biggest thing is you have to let me know if you've seen them already or if you've read the source already, because then we won't do those.
Damn, that's crazy. But yeah, I understand.
Well, yeah, just because it won't be much of a discussion. It would just be me kind of talking at you about the show.
And then be like, who knows?
Yeah,
We'll see.
Is your theory correct?
We've done that before, by the way. That's why it's gotten sick and tiring.
Yeah. I
Not
also
that
tried.
It was bad. It was interesting what we were doing. I forgot what. There was a couple of shows where we've done it before. I think one that was probably
a couple anime. I don't know what anime we've done it with.
I think Promised Neverland was definitely one of them.
What was?
Promised Neverland was definitely one of them.
Oh, sure, but like we didn't talk about that on here though, as like a segment.
Maybe we did. I don't know.
I mean, way back in the day we did Hinamatsuri, and you already read the source for that.
That is correct.
But I think that might have been the only one.
Tower of God. I forgot. There we go.
Oh, Tower of God. Yeah, that was one. Yeah. That was fine though, because that was legitimately like a good show, and it was still anyway. But yeah, I'm just gonna kind of rattle them off. I try to contain myself with this one as well. I didn't do as good a job, but
okay, open up Mal again. Let's go.
Yeah. But yeah, I can kind of read them off, and then if you want to do the same thing, if you want to like read the synopsis.
Let me log into my Mal. I want to see what my wish list is. My Mal list.
So the first one, Ray, that I have here, and also these are all 12 episode ones because I couldn't, I wouldn't do like a 30 episode. It wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, I plan to watch like 212, dude. I don't have that much there, which is ironic. I feel like it should be higher. I just don't go through it.
Well, you are not as nearly as diligent as I am. I have to do everything to a T.
Yeah, no, definitely I do not go through and like update everything. Like I don't have Attack on Titan on here or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, very casual.
So the first one I have here, Ray. How much do I have? I have like a dozen, I think, like 12. I have a place further than the universe.
I do say that is on my list. I think I've seen
Okay.
like the first episode and I never continued it.
Okay, I may have
So-
watched the first episode. See, the weird thing when it comes to stuff like that, Ray, is that we were in anime club, where every week we would see the first episode of like 7 shows,
Mhm.
and it's like, oh man, that looks good, and then I never watched them. So
I definitely watched the first episode by myself and I just never went back to watching it, even though I've heard good things about it.
yeah, I've heard really good things as
Rashawn
well.
watched it and he
Um,
said it's good.
I don't remember what it's about.
They're going to Antarctica, dude.
Yeah, I remember something like that where they're like traveling someplace. Yeah, isn't that more of just like a slice of life show?
It's a slice of life and I guess like a story of growth and like enriching yourself. And
Yeah.
whatnot.
It's like what is that? What's that term? When like you grow up, coming of age. That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking
coming
of.
of age story. It's a nice one.
Yeah, so it was a nice little thing there. The next one I got is the flower we saw that day. I think it's like Anohana. I think is the
Yeah, also on my list, this is a movie as well as a TV show.
yeah. I think
So you have to watch the TV show first, then the movie.
yeah.
And this recently, I think they have like a sequel or whatever they're planning, or like they just released new art or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Remember this? This falls into the more like sad show. Like that kind of thing. Like how we watched the Pancreas movie. It was kind of like that vibe.
Mhm.
Which is I love that. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, Anohana, I think they came out with new art for it. See, Anohana anniversary.
And yeah. So
Yeah,
well,
10th year anniversary.
yeah.
It shows them all grown up. It's just, I think it's just the art though.
Yeah, it might not be more
There
stuff.
will be an event, but I think that's it.
But yeah, I
But
think
yeah,
that
art showing
one.
everyone 10 years later is kind of cool.
That one is like I think it's like a friend that died, and they're all kind of dealing with it.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's like a mystery where they're trying to figure out who did it, but I know at the very least they all they're all
so
their
yeah,
friend group.
Based on what I see here, it's like a group of friends that reunite after someone dies,
Mm-hmm.
and they all want to grant their last wish so they can all move on
Right.
from that. So it's kind of cute.
Um,
That's a good one too.
the next one, and this is probably, if I had to guess out of any of these, if you've seen them, Ray, I would guess this one just because this is like a more popular show. Is Angel Beats.
No, okay. I have seen Angel Beats, but also let me preface this by saying I have no memory of Angel Beats.
Okay.
I have some memory of the plot. By that I mean I understand the twist of the show. As
Okay.
like the big mystery as like why everything's happening.
Okay.
But I cannot say for certain that I actually know the plot of the show because everything else is a blur.
Sure.
It's been years since I've seen the show, so I've all forgotten all of it. This is equivalent to remember I said Toradora.
Toradora, sure.
I brought up Toradora with that, where I said I've forgotten the entire show. You know what I mean? So I could watch it and be like, damn, I can't believe I watched this and I didn't remember all this cool stuff here. Yeah, so that's me. This is back in the day of my heyday of anime when I was watching, binging like series a week or whatever.
Yeah, with Angel Beats, I know it's a pretty popular show. This is one I do remember. I've definitely seen the first episode of. But yeah, that's it. I don't really remember what it's about. I think it's like there's like dead people in it or something. I don't remember.
Yeah. Everyone's dead.
The next one I got here, Terror in Resonance.
Also on my list, you're hitting me hard. I actually saw, I think, the first 2 or 3 episodes for this.
This
And
one,
I'm a big fan of the show, actually, from what I've seen, and I'm ready and excited for more.
I have the name written down. Couldn't tell you what it's about. Can't remember at all what the show is. I
This
just
is
have the
very
name.
interesting. This is a nice little mystery.
Okay.
Slash, I guess, it's a good mystery. Very nice. If you want to do a mystery, this is a good one to watch.
Okay. Now this one, this is like, okay, if Tyler's gonna pick something, it's gonna be this one.
That's the romp.
yeah.
Just up there.
It is. I don't want to say it now because I feel bad, but it's Snafu, my teen romantic comedy Snafu, which I think
I
is
will say I'm a big fan of. Let me see if I wanted to watch this one. 'Cause there's a lot of teen romantic comedies out there.
Well, I know this
You know,
one.
I will say this one's been memed a lot. I actually do have this one on my list.
Yeah, it has been memed. I think recently it's gotten like a bunch of sequels. Like recently, like it's pretty popular.
Mhm.
And like every time I see it in the season, I'm like, oh, it's a show I gotta watch. I gotta, you know. But yeah, it is literally what it says it is. It's like, apparently a really good rom-com. So
There's 2 sequels and an OVA.
yeah.
When did the last sequel come out? 2020. Obviously, it's still going on hard.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
I think it is announced that there's going to be another season. So anything. So the next one, we're moving off of that, and I think this one is actually probably like, if Ray were to guess, is probably the least me show that's on the list. But it's Black Lagoon, and the reason I say that
Really?
is I think Black Lagoon is like an older show.
It is an older show, but I don't think it's like it's still in the age of like where you're still fine watching it. I think.
Okay.
It is older, but this is one I think where you'd be fine, like 2006. Like this is still hitting that animation where like it still wasn't like it's new enough where you'd be fine watching it.
Yeah,
Never
I think 90s is like the peak.
Like
ooh.
if you look at this and you think you're watching Yu-Gi-Oh, like classic Yu-Gi-Oh, you'd be fine.
Sure, yeah. I don't remember what that's about, Ray. Did you pull it up? Do you want to just give a little?
I've seen the first episode, so like basically this one guy gets like taken hostage, if I remember correctly, by like this like mercenary group, and then I think he just ends up joining them.
Okay, sure. That's cool premise. Next one, which I didn't realize was as popular as it was, but when I looked up on Mal, people like it.
These are all bangers, Tyler. Like,
Dude,
what in the
I'm
world?
telling you, I'm good. Next is Noragami, Noragami.
Now I do have to hit you, but I've seen all of Noragami.
Okay, so we won't
I've
do
also
that
read
one.
the manga for Noragami.
At some point,
I
I'll
will say
watch
it's a good show. I will say experience it by yourself. It's wonderful. I have forgotten most of it.
Okay.
At least some of the minor plot stuff that gets brought up. But I remember like a majority of what happens. I just don't remember like the things that push the plot the way it goes.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's a great show. I highly recommend people to watch it.
That'll be one that I'll watch in my own time at some point, and then I'll probably talk about it a little on here with you. But yeah, so that's fine. Next one, you mentioned it. You mentioned the sequel of it. I don't know if you've seen the actual original thing, but it's Megalobox.
I have not seen OG Megalobox.
That's just a show that every time I see art for it or I see a scene of it, it just looks so good, and I'm like, I don't know if the story is good.
I've seen I think I've seen like the first 2 episodes or something like that.
Okay.
But never have finished it. It's again on that list of maybe I should finish it.
And basically it's just a boxing show, but like people, well, I don't know if all people do or if it's just him, but like they have
It's
like
arms, dude.
yeah, it's like robot arms basically.
It's arms. It's arms.
Yeah, it's arms. Yeah, it's arms. Yeah, just every time I see anything of it, it looks cool, and I don't know if the story is good, but I mean, it's gotten sequels, so it's got to be popular and has to be at least kind of good. But then there's Sword Art, so I don't know. Next one I have 4 more, just to let everyone know that this is almost over.
These are all bangers, by the way.
I got Space Dandy.
Now I have seen all. I've seen a good amount of Space Dandy.
Okay.
I will say I haven't seen all of it though.
Space
I've seen a
Dandy
good amount
to
of
me
it.
just looks like, what if we mixed Guardians with Cowboy Bebop?
Space Dandy is like one of those shows I will say where each episode is its own thing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
which is why I wrote it down as like a fun pick. I don't know if we should actually go through with it, but like that was something that kind of I think is holding me back from actually wanting to do it, just because it is more.
Fun fact: you did mention Cowboy Bebop. This show actually has mostly cast of the original Cowboy Bebop working on it.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
That's
There's a
actually
good amount of
pretty cool.
staff members actually on the show.
That's cool.
That's a good
cool.
fun fact there. So it's kind of fun that you said that. So.
The next show is Charlotte.
Now I have seen Charlotte.
Ooh.
I do think Charlotte is a great show. I do remember all of Charlotte.
Okay.
I think that's no, this is also by the guy. So Charlotte's made by the same guy who made Angel Beats and Clannad. I haven't
Yeah,
seen
I do
Clannad,
know
but I know
that.
enough Clannad spoilers to say, maybe. Charlotte I think is better than Angel Beats in my opinion, but that's because I have no memory of Angel Beats.
Okay.
And I also
sure.
think that Charlotte's, I think Charlotte is stronger emotionally than Angel Beats compared to what Angel Beats has. This could be me not remembering Angel Beats correctly, but I don't think that the emotional bond there is as strong as it is in Charlotte. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I can admit that. But I like Charlotte a lot.
That's another one then I'll definitely have to watch and we'll talk about. Next
Charlotte's
one.
great with the way it portrays it. That's supposed to be. So.
Next one, 91 Days.
You know, fun thing, Tyler. I recently finished 91 Days.
Oh man, so close to greatness.
I did recently finish 91
Okay,
Days.
so that'll have to be another one then. That I'll have to watch.
It was good. It was good. It was great.
That's a good sign then. So then the last one is Katana Gatari.
Now, Tyler, I am only like 4 episodes into Katana Gatari.
Okay. That's
somehow
definitely possible then.
somehow everything that I've already I'm legit, I can tell you I'm serious right now. I am 4 episodes into Katana Gatari.
Okay.
That is confirmed. I haven't watched episode 5 yet. And I know it because, one, I've read it here on Mal, and it was one of the only shows I decided to update on Mal.
Ooh. Okay. So that's definitely still on the table then. It'll be a little slower for
Katana
you. Katana
Gatari is different though. Each episode's an hour long.
What is?
Each episode's an hour long.
Oh really? That
They're
is.
hour long.
I don't know if I like that or not.
So it's not like a. You know, so these are like, you know, technically we can do 12, but you know these. You know what I mean? What these episodes are? These are 12 episodes, okay? But each is an hour.
Okay.
It's good. Now, this is the same guy who made Bakemonogatari, okay? Wrote this. Just so we can have perspective here.
Yeah, I just thought the art looked like really funky.
It's a very different art style than what he did. This for Bakemono, as you can see. Well, art style is like different because I mean Shaft does it, but like the concept art for Bakemono still stands. You know what I mean? Whatever the concept art is. So very different the way it's portrayed. But this is a very interesting show. I highly recommend. From the 4 episodes I've seen.
So
if you want, I actually will not continue because this is actually on hold for years. So I was thinking about picking this up. So if you want, this is gonna be like, you know, laid down.
So those are all my picks, right? All the ones that I compiled.
Those are bangers. All of them. I don't think there's a wrong pick there, Tyler. For any of them.
Now we don't have to, you know, finalize it today. We very much can, but I just want to open it to you. Are there any shows on your mind? Again, you don't like update Mal very often, so I don't know if you can go off your list, but are there any ones that you know that you can think of that you would like to
watch? Because like there's some stuff on here that could be updated.
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee the plan to watch list here has already been watched.
You know, I made a list, but I didn't really give you a heads up, so I wanna give you a chance to you know, throw any of your picks out there.
Actually, I do know I have Angel Beats and Anohana on here.
Okay.
All the shows listed, by the way, are either on my plan to watch. I've already seen them, which is a good sign that you
That's
know
good,
you're on that wavelength. You know, you already can feel me somewhere.
Picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
I don't really have any like front runners in this. I mean, again, I had to whittle it down so much.
I would say like, you know, I'm interested in Black Lagoon, but I'm not sure if that's your cup of tea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the animation. I think you can stomach it, is what I mean to say. But I'm not sure if it's something that, you know, you'd be...
Yeah, I mean, I watched, like, the trailer for it and everything. Like, you know, again, like, any show on this list I'm fine with doing, or else it wouldn't be on this list. Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. With the you know, art style and stuff. It is older.
I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying, like, this is, like, the show I expect you to watch maybe the least.
Sure, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what I said, too, where it's, like... You know, probably the least likely show that.
And you're correct, by the way. You know yourself so well. Maybe I want to see what the animation for this one looks like. It was a while ago that I added this here.
I mean, honestly,
you're definitely not gonna want to watch this one. The animation's too old for you.
I mean,
but that means the same time as a Black Lagoon, so we're not gonna watch that.
Okay.
I was gonna say Gunslinger Girl. That looked interesting.
I think that is on my list actually. You know, Ray.
I know you so well. You know.
I'm trying to grow as a person, okay? And they're actually, you know, I have had a lot of shows that I've added. Even like, honestly, like the '80s style of anime is really cool. I don't know if you've ever seen any
if you want, we
80s
can watch
stuff.
like JoJo OVAs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
you want like the OG JoJo OVA, because that stuff is like clean in animation.
Yeah,
No joke.
I mean, listen, it's the same thing with like Akira. Like we watched Akira, it's super
That animation
old,
was.
but like it's all about
I
quality.
think it's like I think for you it's like it's all about that one period where like it was going to that transition phase, and you're just like no.
Yeah,
I think that's
it's mostly 90s because like you know a lot of stuff in the 2000s was really bad, but like my favorite show of all time came out in 06. You know, so it's mostly 90s stuff. That's like that transition where it's like, ooh, they were trying to figure this stuff out and it was not good.
A fun one I think would be A Sister's All You Need. I feel like we talked about this one already though. As in this is like the weird comedy one where like the guy is like has like a siscon fantasy, but he doesn't know like his brother's actually a girl, it's actually a sister.
That is a lot to unpack.
Yo, it's I've shown you the clip from this actually.
Yeah, I'm sure you have, yeah.
It's the one where like like I think like he's like eating the panties in the morning. And you're like, what is happening?
Yeah, no, you did show me that. Yeah.
And like the clip like fades out and you see like his writer, like not his writer, his editor be like, what is wrong with you? The story makes no sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
He's
yes, you did. I do remember that now.
So I think that could be a fun one. As a comedy little, toss in. Anything else here that's like really cool? I'm like scrolling through.
I mean, just to keep in mind, okay, so for you, Ray, but also the listeners, me and Ray do like to, whenever we pick shows, we like to have a variety. Like we don't want to pick two slice of lifes because that's boring, and if you don't like slice of life, then you're just gonna skip that that segment every week. But that being said, since we are doing more shows, our seasonal shows that we're picking are both kind of like darker and
darker themed,
a little more serious, because Tokyo Revengers kind of like a mystery and going back in time, stopping a murder, and then Snow and Blood, I mean action, historical, that kind of thing. So we do have more leeway. I definitely think one of our shows should be not necessarily lighthearted, but not so like dark and serious, I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can just go all in and just be really sad all the time. That's also an option. That was just my way of saying that. No, I don't know what I was gonna say.
What the heck is this show? Sometimes I have to go look through this list and find out what was I thinking when I added some of these.
Let me just delete all the ones that we're definitely not gonna do.
What is this? Hold up. Was this an error? Was this added in an error? Did I add this one by accident? This looks so not like what I would see right now. Was I like freaking out?
What are you looking at, Ray?
Planet With. What? Who decided to pick this?
I don't know what that
Apparently
is.
I did. I'll have to see if it's good or not. I'll keep it on the list just so I can judge it later. Princess Principal. I remember hearing a lot of good things about the show, but never seeing it. You want to add this one on, Princess Principal? It's like some historical show or whatever.
You can do whatever you want, Ray. It's a free country.
Yeah, we can put up Princess Principal on the list of cool things.
Listen, Ray. If you just want my honest opinion, if I definitely think you should pick one, since you didn't pick either from our seasonal. I mean, even though you said you don't care.
I'm saying like to add on to this extended list.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like Princess Principal can be added onto the extended list, as well as the other one I said earlier. What is this one? Sankareya? Yeah, actually add this one onto the extended list as well. You would love this one. This is up your alley.
Are you typing them out yourself? Because I haven't written anything down you said.
Oh no, I haven't typed these out yet.
Okay. Because if you're expecting me to, I can, but like you didn't say to.
Type these in the general chat.
Okay.
Here. Sankareya, A Sister's All You Need, and what was the other one I said? Some other nonsense.
You said
Princess Principal? There we
Sailor
go.
Moon.
Yes. We can watch the new Sailor Moon. No.
Good.
Okay. I'm almost done going through like this list of like things right here, so like almost peaked. What is this? See, sometimes I gotta look through these and be like, what was I thinking when I added these shows? As in, I don't know if I was thinking or if I was just random shows that I was interested in.
Sure, yeah. As Ray is making his own
Almost
little
done.
list
I'm on
right
the letter
there,
S right now, so like we're already peaking.
he's kind of filling out his list because I didn't give him a lot of heads up. Let me tell you about. I was gonna make a joke and
Today's
let me tell you about our sponsor, but the way I was thinking about this was there's definitely some shows that I left off, like that I haven't seen. I mean, they wouldn't have worked anyway because of time, but like one show that I'm definitely gonna watch in my own free time and talk to Ray about would be like Death Note, because I know you've seen Death Note, right? Ray knows Death Note, but like we couldn't do that for two reasons, because he's already seen it and because I think it's like 37 episodes or something. Like Attack on Titan is another popular one. I tried to get, most of these shows on here are fairly popular.
Have you seen Girls Last Tour, or is that also on your list?
What's Girls Last Tour?
That's the one with like the two girls and like the apparently like the abandoned like tank or
Okay,
whatever.
so here's the thing about that, Ray. That was actually on, like, that almost made the cut of these shows, but I left it off because I was like, I don't know if that's a show Ray would really want to watch.
Okay, we're gonna put that here on the extended Girls Last Tour. So this is the extended one to add on. Now I put that in the general so you can like have those there. Now out of the ones you said, I'm definitely excited for any of those. If you wanted to know picks that I would make, personally, that's tough, Tyler, because they're all good. All the ones you stated are bangers. I don't know what to say. Like, okay, it's like we have Katana God 3, okay?
Here, I will reread
Megalobox.
the list if you want to. Okay, so my list is Katana Gatari. We got Megalobox. We got Black Lagoon. We got My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu. We got Terror and Resonance. We got Anohana. The flower we saw that day. And then we got Place Further Than the Universe. There were more picks, but I deleted them because those were ones that you said you've already seen. Like Charlotte and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I want it to be fresh and clean. Do you remember the scene in The Matrix when when Neo wakes up and he has like he comes out the pod, and he has all that like sludge on him and stuff.
Again, we picked the. Okay. I remember Tokyo Revengers, and then
the
Girl
Blood and Snow, Snow and Blood.
Someone. Okay.
So like one,
Okay.
one is like kind of mystery, and then the other one is like action historical, I'd say.
Alright, going on that. I was gonna say Katana Gatari, but Katana Gatari kind of melts too much. So we had to kind of pass. Even though it's a different type of show.
I'm also a little scared that the episodes are kind of long. I don't really know if I want to deal with that. I'll be honest.
Yeah, like Katana Gatari is something you have to kind of plan around.
Yeah.
They are an hour, you know what I mean? But technically that means you can pair with a 24 episoder. Or you can also pair with a 12. And just do like hour and a halves.
Sure.
That's future proofing that, okay?
Mm.
I'm definitely thinking Megalobox would be different than the other ones that we have right now. Also, it's kind of fun because it's like Megalobox is showing their second season right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Megalobox could also be the one to toss in.
Yeah.
So I think Megalobox definitely makes a cut.
And also,
yeah.
I kind of mentioned before about Snow and Blood how like, there has to be something special to it because I'm not super into historical stuff. Same thing with Megalobox. I usually don't like sports stuff, I'm just like, whatever. But Megalobox, pretty good. Although Haikyuu, I watched the first episode of that, in club, and I was like, man, this looks good.
Haikyuu's really good, dude.
Yeah,
I highly recommend
I've
a
heard.
lot of people to watch or read Haikyuu and get into that. That's like the real stuff. And because we don't have it, no, I'll do Snafu. We don't have it yet. We don't have a rom-com.
Snafu, yeah.
That's a 13 and a 12, I think.
So yeah.
No, it's a 13 and 13. It matches.
Ooh, matches, dude.
13-13. So yeah, Megalobox and Snafu.
Yeah, if
Or
those
what
are
I
the,
choose.
if that's what you're thinking, I'm down.
They match actually.
We
so
you know we
that's
definitely
fine.
have some variety there. Even bouncing off of the seasonal stuff. You know, we got like a
So
sports
this is a new list right here.
thing and a romantic
Oh,
comedy
right.
thing. I'm down for
Anime
that.
Picks.
Yeah,
Megalo,
dude.
Box, Snafu, and then we got Snow and Blood. I'll write
Yeah.
right now because I don't know the name right now. And Tokyo Revengers. Bang.
That's like a good little lineup. I am, and you know, another good thing about us, alternating this way is that
Mhm.
these older weeks are kind of more secure because they've already come out, and so like we already know the public opinion. Like Megalobox has gotten good reviews, Snafu's gotten good
Snafu's
reviews.
got good
So like,
yeah.
these are kind of set in stone. So like we know these should be good, whereas Tokyo Revengers could be garbage, Snow and Blood could be garbage, which would be unfortunate. But that's kind of the fun of it, I guess.
You were rolling the dice. Remember how we thought the Demon Show would be garbage?
It should have been. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It should have been just like okay. But then we watched it and it's like, oh, it's actually pretty good. It has some cool ideas and some pretty cool plot points.
It played itself like One Punch would, where it's like you have an overpowered MC, so what do you do?
Mm-hmm. I think with shows like that, whenever they do an OP main character, it's all about the surrounding characters and how they deal with them.
Definitely.
And it's definitely true with One Punch Man, where it's like he's surrounded by interesting characters. Yeah, man, that's exciting. So everyone, next week, we're finishing up our current season. Wonder Egg, Cells at Work. One of those will probably be very exciting. The other one, probably not as much, but it'll be fine.
Yeah, Cells at Work really, it was picked as we thought it would be more interesting. Actually, is what it was.
Yeah, it had potential. I'll definitely say that. But what are you gonna do?
I can already definitely feel that when Tower of God Season 2 comes out, we're probably gonna hop on that.
Tower of God Season 1 was good. That was good. Do we know when a Season 2 is coming?
I feel like it was greenlit by Crunchy, but I don't know when.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, because that was kind of the kickoff of Crunchyroll kind of really pushing.
It wasn't greenlit yet.
Okay.
There's no confirmation on whether or not it's coming back. But I'd assume that it would be Season 2ing.
Yeah, I mean, it was popular. It kind of kicked off the whole webtoon thing. Like, it has to.
It's not like it's bad. No, the right amount of things you put in there, is enough there. Again, more hardcore fans of the webtoon, I was saying it did cut stuff, but I mean, in an adaptation, you expect to cut stuff. I don't think they should have cut some of the stuff they did, but I can still say it's a great adaptation nonetheless.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any context for that, but I assume you're right.
I mean, because you can assume when you're adapting something, you're always going to cut, you know what I mean?
Oh,
when
yeah.
You're cutting, to make it fit.
Yeah, I mean, you have to.
Do I agree with some of the cuts they did over some other ones that could have been done? No. I still think it's a good show. What do you think the animation turns out to actually be like a little bit better in some parts when I even try to flex?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you tell me the crown wasn't a flex.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. So yeah, Ray. I mean, I got some other stuff. I don't know. I feel like we talked about anime for a long time. I don't know. I don't know. I feel defeated. But I don't know if you heard, Ray. YouTube taking away the whole dislike thing. How do you feel about
Don't get me
that?
started on that. It's a terrible decision, actually.
They're like, hey, you're not gonna be able to see how many dislikes you got anymore.
That's
Crazy.
bad. First of all, if you're a content creator, you don't know what people like or don't like anymore. Well, let's hit with that, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what people think is good from your content,
I
which is
mean,
awful. Because, like, you kind of, like, at least for a growing creator, you want that, viewer interaction. But it kind of skews things. Like, we won't have, like, whatever the Call of Duty trailer was where, like, got, like, bombed, like, to, like, the bottom of the abyss. And everyone can see, like, everyone didn't like this.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that the main catalyst for this, Ray, is their last YouTube rewind was like the most disliked video of all time.
YouTube Rewind being just, like, I'm just saying, like first of all, YouTube Rewind just was lucky to be, like, and I think the only reason we can think of the first couple rewinds as good is because we were just in that era. Let me hit you with that one.
But they were good because they actually embodied YouTube rewind. Like, they actually were like, hey, here's all the biggest stuff on YouTube that happened the past year and we're celebrating this. Whereas now you get some big stuff, but it doesn't capture everything. Like, there's, YouTube is supposed to be, about the people, that kind of thing. Like we decide what YouTube is, and the rewind never reflects that. Like, I love Will Smith, but why was Will Smith in that rewind? Like, he's, I'm sure he has a lot of subscribers on YouTube, but like, he's not part of the YouTube culture.
I don't think I've seen any YouTube rewind, like, seriously, after, like, 2013. That says a lot, actually.
And like, why was Fortnite in, like, Fortnite isn't a YouTube thing, and like, I know there's that one that, like, Ninja was a big part of it. It's like, Ninja's not a YouTuber. Like, why was he such a big part of YouTube?
Yeah, that's the correct answer. He's just a big part of the internet.
Yeah, like, he's on Twitch, your rival. Literally.
He was also previously on Mixer.
He was on Mixer, and the Mixer died.
Again, like, people have their opinions on Ninja. I'm just saying, if you were given a guaranteed paycheck for, like, a while, you take it, right? Especially with that amount.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
They gave him a couple million. People are really saying, no, he's a sellout. Yeah, you're gonna sell out, dude. They gave him like a couple mil to be on Mixer.
I feel like sellout has gotten a negative connotation when it shouldn't. I feel like everyone should reach the point to sell out. Like that's the point, is to build something you have to then make a lot of money off.
If you're selling out for something that you're okay with, like, I don't think he was saying Mixer's good. I think he's saying Mixer was an alternative and had a guaranteed paycheck, so why not take it? You're not losing any money. You're getting guaranteed money.
Wasn't, like, Twitch, like, messing with him a little bit of, like, doing some stuff that he didn't agree with?
Mm-hmm. And well, that's an everyday thing on Twitch. I mean, I don't know what to say.
And I'm not mad for him going someplace to get more money than he's already making, and then also to be able to be a part of something that's new.
And if it was going to be big, that was the time to start,
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Mixer died. He probably had a tank of viewership when he was there. Maybe tank of, like, people donating to him.
Sure.
But a couple mil is, like, you don't need that money that they were going to donate or view anyway.
I mean, like, he's, like, talked about how much money he makes in a month. Like, it's, like, a lifetime of money, Like, it's, I'm sure he didn't need the money at all. It was just part of him trying to, like, be the face of something rather than be in a pool with everyone else.
I don't know, play chess or something. That's where you get people now.
Yeah, you gotta play chess. Or you have to, something else that I want to talk about was, like, cards have gotten a resurgence. Have you seen
trading
this?
Cards, yeah, trading cards, Pokemon openings, Yu-Gi-Oh openings.
Yeah, like, everyone is opening cards again.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's because, it's like playing the lottery,
It is.
You see that shiny. It's like those mobile games, you get the 5-star unit. That's me every time I play a mobile game on my phone, by the way. 5-star unit, you're like, beautiful.
Cards have kind of turned into, like, stocks at this point. Like, people are trying to get certain ones, like, watching the market,
It's Well, I mean, it's always been that way. I just want to stress this, by the way. If anyone's actually been like doing like trading card research or whatever, it's always been that way. It's just been more popularized now due to a couple streamers blowing it up on their channels and whatnot, having it now make a resurgence because of this. But it's always been this way. Like my brother really big into Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day. Constantly look at prices of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. No joke. And like see what the value was. When he was into Yu-Gi-Oh, he would do this. Buy packs, check value of cards for what he didn't have, and then he would consider selling some of his. And like he knew market values and whatnot. He'd be like, that card went for like $13. You know, everyone wants it. It's like a staple, so you buy 3. You know, you make your money. But it's like it's 13 because it's not like a super high rarity card. It's like it's 13 because everyone uses it. You know what I mean? There's some cards like that where it's like, you know, $5 or whatever. Or it's like a short print, you're like 30. And it's like, okay. And then there's like a higher rarity card, you go up to like 100, 200, and you say, yeah, you know, that's what it is, baby. That's the value you're in. You live the life. What is it? You know, the one game they play Anime Club, White Horse? Some of those cards go for like a couple $100, and just because they're collector piece.
Yeah.
Because like the thing with some of like the rare cards they have there, they have signatures on them from the voice actors.
Oh, that's cool.
So if you get like one of the cards that has a signature, dude, you're like guaranteed bank, or you just hold on to that. You know what I mean? It's a collector item.
Yeah, I mean, everything has a market. You know, you just gotta find it.
The White Shores market is either 1, you're a big fan of the anime, 2, you're going to be playing with a card, or 3, you know, that's just that collector nice piece there.
Yeah, it just looks good.
And some of the cards have like full art or whatever. I'm just like, there's a lot of stuff you can fanboy about. Magic cards, like, you know, the market for that. Magic's been around for years. People know the Magic market. Cards haven't been printed. You know, Black Lotus. Everyone talked about Black Lotus being like such a rare high card. Reprinted it recently. You know, like they destroyed the Black Lotus market because of that. That's crazy. They have other cards too that are like super expensive and whatnot. Like other tutors and whatnot. They're just really cool and like, you know, what can you say? That's how it always is, though.
There have been some times where I'm like, man, what if I just like got into collecting cards again, you know? I just started getting Yu-Gi-Oh cards or something.
Yeah, my brother said that, and I said, no, don't even try. It's a hole, first of all, because you're hopping into it. You're not guaranteed anything. And plus, if you like the card so much you're not going to sell it, then what are you going to do?
Well, I mean, like, I would just do it to collect them, you know? Just for, like, nostalgia.
That's fine. You gotta buy them old packs, you know what I'm saying? That's what most people are buying. Most people are buying old packs, though. When they're doing that. This is for the nostalgia trip.
You got the show accurate versions too, the ones that don't have descriptions. It's just like the stars and the numbers, you know, like the huge artwork.
That's why like my brother wanted to get a Shonen Jump subscription for a while, because they were printing like certain like Shonen Jump volumes. They would have a Yu-Gi-Oh card in them, in some of them.
Ooh.
I believe he got like the Winged Dragon of Ra on one of them, and I think he tried to get the Dark Magician one.
That's cool.
It's all alternative art or whatever, and it's signed by the artist on the print.
That's really cool. Yeah, that'd be dope to have.
But I don't think he has the Dark Magician. I know he has the Winged Dragon of Ra. I know that for certain.
I always liked the dragon more than Obelisk, you know?
What, Winged Dragon or like Slifer?
Slifer,
both
yeah.
Anyway, but I mean like, yeah.
I mean both, really. I like them both. I never really liked Obelisk. I thought Obelisk was boring.
I thought Obelisk was boring, but then I just realized like Obelisk is a big meat stick, dude. He guarantees slaps every time.
Yeah,
like using Raw or Slifer's like always a gamble. Am I not wrong?
Yeah. No,
You're
that's
always
true.
gambling if you have those two. Like Obelisk just doesn't care. He's like, okay, we're in this to win this, boy.
I mean, because like, isn't Slifer based on like how many cards you have in your hand or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Opponent has a card, discard all the cards in your hand. What are you gonna do?
That's true. Yeah.
My Slifer.
That happened in the show, didn't it? Where that was like how Yugi beat Slifer. Like, oh, I'm gonna take away all your cards, and then, or like you keep making him draw, and lose them. You know. Yeah.
It's like he had a card that looped the card or whatever. So it's like the card had like draw until you get a specific card.
Yes.
Or like discard. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get this card. And he had a card that like looped it for him. He's like, you had to keep going. So you basically like mill.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, that is exactly. But then like he was able to like take that card and now he had it on his own thing and yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh was a crazy show, you know? Yu-Gi-Oh was nuts.
Yu-Gi-Oh was crazy, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Twitch is crazy, dude. Maybe Mixer. But yeah, dislikes, am I right, guys?
Am I right? I don't know, I just wanted to mention that because like we're on YouTube. I don't really care. I mean, you know, I feel like it's important to be able to dislike something, to be like, hey, this is not good. You know, I get like bombing something unfairly, but
I feel like though a majority of people don't bomb something unfairly. They bomb it for a reason.
I mean, at the end of the day, the YouTube algorithm is awful. So like, who cares?
Also, let me hit this. Like, you only have two. It's not like you have a star value. You have a like or a dislike. You know what I'm saying, man? It's like you either like or you do not like.
Yeah, it's so
One
binary.
option. Okay, so you have to keep it. If you had a star system, you know, I could be like, yeah, you know, but you have a like and dislike. You know,
I mean, they used to have a star system.
They used to have a star system. That's crazy. I know that. I'm old enough.
I think Facebook is the one who changed that because Facebook was the one who started doing likes. You know, back in the day.
Back in the day.
I kind of had a revelation the other day. I was watching Game Grumps, which I haven't done in a while actually, but and Aaron was talking about how most people watch YouTube by their home feed, their like home page,
Really?
and not their sub box. And I was like,
Really?
I was blown away by that. Of like, who watches YouTube like that? Who just goes to their recommendations and starts clicking? Like that's wild to me.
Like, not even my parents do that. Like, my parents will be like, well, my mom, because she more uses YouTube, she'll either look up songs that she likes on YouTube and like listen to that, or she'll be like, you know, like look up like recipes online.
Sure.
As for ideas of what to make when she's bored. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
She'll be like, she likes to cook, so she's like, what am I gonna make here? Ooh, that's interesting. It's a cool idea.
I mean,
And I'm like, yeah, but like she'll search, you know what I mean? I don't know what type of mad person you have to be to go through and then decide that you're gonna be using your recommended. I'll use my recommended feed if I see something in recommended feed that's relevant to me.
sure.
But I'm not gonna immediately go to the recommended feed and be like, damn, dude, this is what I came here for. Mwah.
Yeah.
Bliss.
That's like one step away from going to the trending tab.
I'll go to trending. I'm not lying. I will go to trending
You're nuts.
on
You're
YouTube.
wild.
But that's because I want to see what's trending, though. You know, I want to see like what everyone's like talking about.
But like
You know what I mean?
most things that are trending are like they're like put there. You know, like
It's like corporation stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or
what?
it's like it's either corporations or like big YouTubers. Like if I see any dream related content, I skip. Sorry, dream stands.
Sure.
I'm just not into that. You know.
Or like there's always like late night show segments, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about this.
I'll watch the movie trailers that drop there.
You what?
I'll watch the movie trailers when they drop there.
Okay, sure.
But
That's
like I'll
fair.
give that credit. I'll watch movie trailer credit. You know. But that's because it's very easy to see them there. You know.
Yeah, it is.
Like I don't think without that I would have saw the Space Jam trailer.
How do you feel about the Space Jam trailer?
You know, I feel like it's gonna be decent. I don't think it's gonna be bad.
People
I
are
don't think the movie
saying
can actually be awful.
it's basically Ready Player One.
I mean, I guess, but it can't really be Ready Player One.
I mean, I think the comparison is just like
It's just a mashup of what.
yeah, like the original Space Jam was Michael Jordan and Looney Tunes, and this one is like we're just gonna throw everything under the Warner
it's
umbrella into
LeBron
this movie.
and with Game of Thrones and
Yeah.
Iron Giant and Superman.
Nuts. And it's just like, what is this movie? Like what? Like, I don't know.
It's a blast.
I saw today that Zendaya is gonna be voicing Lola. So
I'm
that's,
just excited to have her in Dune. I don't know. I mean,
dude, yeah, like Space Jam 2, couldn't care less, honestly. Couldn't care less about
Dune,
this
the
movie.
new Dune movie. Hype.
Dune? Cannot wait for Dune. Dune is gonna be crazy. So good.
Yeah, like I'm excited, and the fact that I heard like they're making it two-parter, let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be good. It has to be. I'm excited for movies to start coming out again. You know, 2020 was kind of empty.
It was kind of empty, yeah.
Now we're starting to bring them back.
Well, I feel like there's a reason why it was empty, but yeah.
Well, I mean, like we got Snyder
I
Cut.
didn't think about
like,
it for myself. Yeah.
Got Snyder Cut. I mean, what else? What else do you need? It takes you a week to watch Snyder
Tenet
Cut.
that came out. What's the Tenet?
Yeah. I don't really have anything else, right? I don't know if you know.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Mostly
It's
anime.
basically good though, because I gotta eat too.
What happened?
I gotta eat food too.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one does. No one knows this, by the way. But if we're recording, you know, sometimes I don't eat before we're recording.
Sure.
And fun fact, it's like been like 2.5 hours. It's crazy.
Yeah. We had a lot of anime to talk about.
We did, and we had a lot of other stuff to talk about, which is wild. I'm looking at the recording right now. It's like 2:40. That's pretty good.
And then
Kinda.
next week, right, we go back to the normal amount, but like Wonder Egg, we'll probably talk about Wonder Egg for like an hour.
We will go hard on Wonder Egg. It's crazy.
I mean,
it's either we like it or we're just gonna hate. And honestly, I can't wait to see what the reaction is for Wonder Egg.
if we end up not liking this show, it's gonna be an even bigger disappointment than Sing Yesterday.
Like Sing Yesterday, it's like it was we were just lied to. Okay, I'll be honest.
Yeah, we were
If we saw Sing
bamboozled.
Yesterday had like the 12 or 13, if it had the 13 of the 18, it would have been acceptable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because we were baited by that. You know, the extra 5 episodes. What could they do? You know what
It's
I mean?
just that, like, you know, for me with Sing Yesterday, it was not a bad show. I very much enjoyed that show, but you know, it felt like it was rushed because we were expecting more episodes. You know?
We were expecting the 18, right?
Yeah, and then like the way it ended, it's like, oh well, we could use more. Oh, there is no more. That's a weird way to end it. Whereas with this one, you know, there's no false expectations with length. So now it's just it better deliver. You know?
It's
Because
like Death Parade, you know what I mean? Get yourself hyped up over this, you know?
mhm.
We talked about Death Parade earlier, so I can bring this up. The world building Death Parade, you got yourself real hyped up, you're like, this is interesting, and then you just cut it, and you're like, what is this? You're
Yeah,
left with this, like,
like it could have been so much more. You know?
season 2 even? Not even a season, like an OVA. An extra
Something.
episode just to clarify, please.
A movie, you know? Go the movie
A
route.
movie, just to clarify. I need answers.
I need answers. Don't have them.
It was original, too. That's what hurts.
That is what hurts, yeah. Yeah.
That good original stuff, you know?
They lied to us.
So yeah, I'm excited for Wonder Egg to be the next exciting original anime of the season.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely excited to
Because
finish
I
it.
can almost guarantee in my head that Jujutsu Kaisen is not based on a manga. So it's not truly original, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was expectations for Jujutsu Kaisen, where no one knew what to expect for Wonder Egg.
Yeah, that's true. I'm wondering,
Like, there was expectations for Promised Neverland.
so much expectations.
This is what you should have been.
Which,
They
like,
could have just done, like, a script you make of the manga, and it would have been fine.
yeah, I
No
know.
one
I
would
mean,
have complained.
there definitely had to be some, like, higher up
It was
meddling.
definitely some executive that caused it.
Yeah, it had to be.
Either that or the author said, no, we're doing it this way.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, that hurts.
Yeah, man. So everyone make sure to watch those episodes. You know, we're finishing up Cells at Work, finishing up Wonder Egg. Watch them, have a good time, And yeah, we'll talk
They're all
about it.
good.
And then episode 4, Falcon and Winter Soldier as well. Don't forget that. Yeah. And then I mean, I'm excited to finish these shows, obviously, and talk about them. But then I'm excited to start our new shows as well. Because that'll be a good time. So yeah, I think that's it, Ray.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So yeah. See you next week, everyone. All right. Anything else to say?
We gotta watch more anime and stuff to watch to talk about it. That's honestly it, guys.
Yeah. So yeah. Bye, everyone. Until next week. As long as we do it.
Have fun.